Hi, how are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Minutemen number 11 from Cow League. My name is Joneskies, and I'm joined by Ruik here at the desk. How are you doing, Ruik?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Joneskies?
You know, I can't complain. It's an 11 Minutemen. Good day to be alive. Super excited for the games. Oh yeah, I can't give you that. So we have just gotten all our teams together right at 8:30 Eastern, and it looks like we're going to be trying to get into games here first. But one thing I do want to talk about is just a little bit is this upcoming PTR changes. I don't know if you guys know, but
changes.
Oh yeah, they're changing things around in the public test realm. Everybody can go ahead and try that out just by switching their region from America to I believe it's just PTR is the name.
Yeah, it's just the PTR test realm.
Yeah, so do you want to give me a little rundown of those changes, Ruik?
So some of the biggest changes, probably the most impactful on the current meta, is the Lucio change from 100% speed boost on his E to 70%, which basically changes from a sprint to a brisk walk into the enemy team, which changes a lot of that forced meta of just using that, bursting through the Reinhardt shield and not caring. So that changes a lot. And then also the fact that they cut off Genji's legs from his triple jump. Crawling on his hands really isn't that fit for Genji, so we'll see if he sticks in the current meta. Another great change was Hanzo now has increased movement speed while he's charging his arrow. He does faster arrow projectile speed, which is crazy. It's basically hit scan Hanzo. And then he also shoots at a higher projectile area. So basically he shoots logs instead of arrows now. So all those changes are currently going to change up the meta to a high degree. What do you think, Joneskies?
You know, I think how you described all of them was perfect. Having a brisk walk, I think, is a really good description of how the Lucio changes are. I think you're going to see a lot slower compositions with like poke comps and stuff. And I think the probably the funnest yet most frustrating thing is going to be Hanzo. Just you're just going to see a lot of Hanzos hit Scanzos just spamming chokes, and you're just going to get taken out. It's going to be a struggle just getting one shot headshotted randomly a bunch.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens because, like you said, at first it's going to be a lot of this new poke slow gameplay. But I think as people learn to accommodate the new changes, they're going to change up to kind of counter the poke gameplay into something else. Maybe they might do aggressive pushes to stop the poking for a short period of time. Or maybe they just might take an ultra defensive move and just keep shields up 24/7. We don't know. But now with the new Mei changes, her ultimate can now be pushed through shields, and the projectile of the ultimate can't be blocked by Reinhardt. So maybe it'll counter that shield comp that the people might do, and not allow people to turtle.
Yeah, man. I mean, you never know. I don't really see Mei coming into the meta, but I think that something here, like at the Minutemen, where just like crazy things happen every so often. Who knows? You might see that. But one thing I will say is that these changes aren't in place yet. They're testing them right now to come into the new season, season 2. If anyone didn't know, season 1 has just ended. They gave out those competitive points based on your rank. People got their top 500 icons, their sprays, their fancy animated sprays. I didn't get it, unfortunately. I was just a little off. You know, when I say a little, I mean like 10 ranks off.
Yeah, I've already got my golden Hanzo bow, so I'm ready for next season.
There you go. You just prepped and ready. I'm glad.
I needed to prepare early for those U-logs, so now I'm shooting golden U-logs, even better.
That's what I like. I still haven't decided what golden gun I want. I don't really have a main, so I think I might just go for the Zarya's grav gun, just because it's you get the most gold for your money, you know. That's my only
true.
thought.
Although the Reinhardt hammer might be more gold.
I might have to. I never play Reinhardt, but just for the economy, I just might need that. I mean,
something interesting though. I haven't seen the Bastion gold weapon. I know his right hand gun turns into gold, but what happens when he goes into Bastion?
His Bastion, his turret actually does turn in gold. The barrels of his turret. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty sick. I don't know. I mean, and then again, there's also the troll pick, so you could go with a Torbjorn or Symmetra gold weapon.
There you go. I think I know Symmetra has been thrown around a lot for that weapon. God, that would be such a waste. I feel bad for whoever uses all their points on that.
But whatever you pick as gold, you have to main. You can't just not
Of
main.
course, you have
Right.
to. Yeah, so I think that
Or maybe you should just save them up. Maybe a new character is going to come out, and you could be the first with the gold weapon for a new character.
There that's a very good chance. Sombra, who knows, with all that ARG might be coming up real soon.
Perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
So, one other thing, I have to ask, what rank did you get at the end of the season?
I had 64 at the end of the season. 64. I was this close from 300 competitive points, but I solo queued at the last minute, and I had 2 losses, and I just said, you know what, I'll take my 200 and whatever points. So,
oh yeah, I mean, like, it's not too bad. I think I ended real. I went down on a downward spiral after a few past couple days. I think I ended around 68, I want to say. But it was a bit of a struggle.
I played quite a few games with some of my low-level friends, so I guess I kind of shot myself in the foot there, and I can't complain. But I think next season I'll probably play a little bit more competitively, seeing as I feel like the meta is going to change, but I feel like it's going to be more consistent this upcoming season.
Yep. No, I'm just super excited for that. We have a nice little 2-week downtime. I hope they are able to implement the PTR changes soon, just so I can see how these changes affect more of the larger scale. I don't want to say casual, but not as invested players, like how it changes that meta up a little bit. I mean, you're already going to see so many Hanzos. It's not even going to be fun in quick play, because PTR is like 6 Hanzos just queuing against another 6 Hanzos. But I hope it creates a little more variety rather than just like McCree Reaper is your only damage and you have to run Zenyatta Lucio.
I don't know what it is, but every time now in the PTR that a Hanzo asks me to change characters, I always just kind of think to myself, like, what year is this?
That has happened so much to me, I'm not even gonna lie. But one other thing with how the competitive season is going into season 2, they're changing the rule set. Instead of, they're actually doing away with coin flip completely. So the plan for them is to do a time bank system, pretty much exactly how control point maps are right now in competitive. What do you think that's going to mean just for games in general? Because I'm not too sure. I think
it's going to lead to less of the salt feeling at the end of games when one team gets attack and the other gets defense, or vice versa on certain maps where it's obviously easier or harder to hold that first point. I think it's going to change up how that feels at the end of the game. I don't think it's going to feel quite as unfair as it did before. Although as long as there's a time system, there's always going to be a fight of who gets the last turn.
Yeah.
But I think in this new system, it's a little bit more fair. It's a little bit more balanced towards the middle than it was before, no matter what side it ends up on.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for the changes, because not only is competitive mode changing, but starting with the new season, the Cow Open format is going to change to the time bank as well, now that those systems are in place. And I think that's going to, of course, get rid of a lot of that salt, but I think that's going to make for much more exciting games instead of two teams beating the map, like, which happens consistently, and just having to go to a King of the Hill round if you're playing the Cow Open, or just like a boring attack and defend for the first point. That never felt fair. So, sorry to cut you off there. We're looking to get into the game real quick here. One thing I want to do is shout out one of our sponsors before we get into the game here, Random CS. The guys doing the administration work here, helping out these players. We can't do it without them. For the Cow Open, we couldn't do anything without them. So go give them a check out at Random CS. Anything do you want to mention, Ruik?
Well, earlier today I was watching some of the pro streamers and pro players streaming kind of like open scrims between each other. Just kind of like pick up, the same thing we're basically having here, but between some of the pro players who are on each other's friends list.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them were saying that the the new time bank system is leading to a lot more intense and fun matches, where these comebacks from these just effort-filled pushes can lead to really rewarding moments in the game that weren't available before. So I think it's going to be super exciting to see what it turns into and how the teams kind of balance out trying to use extra time or trying to waste all the time in the end when they're losing.
Yeah, no, I have to completely agree here. Now, we are going to be getting into our first match, Team Maga versus Team Gengi. We're going on to Hollywood, and I'm going to throw it away to our casters, Aaron, LOL, and it's got to be Kane.
Good evening tonight, Twitch viewers. We are here at another Thursday night at the competitive Overwatch League Open. This is the Minutemen number 11, the 11th installment of this solo queue style pickup game tournament. My name is Aaron LOL, and I'm joined by That's Gotta Be Kane yet again tonight. Kane, Season 2 is almost upon us, man. This game's only been out less than like 3 months, a few months here, and we're already ready for big changes. What are you looking forward to?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to getting past rank 47. You know, all my rank 40s in the house. Let me hear you. Let me hear you, low tier gods.
Rank 40s.
Oh yeah. Rank
the crowd
40s,
goes wild.
Crowd goes wild, but you know what? I'm really looking forward to the new banking system. I think it's gonna add the dynamic that Overwatch was pretty much made for. I think it's gonna be very a lot more befitting for this game. So generally speaking, I'm really excited to see what Season 2 goes forward. It really shows that Blizzard they're really looking out for us and looking for how to make this competitive scene for Overwatch the best that it can be. So I'm a fan.
Excited. I'm a fan of the changes as well. Guys, our heroes are ready to spawn on Hollywood right now. The two teams we have facing one another are the blue team named Maga and the red team named Gengi, a play on Genji's name for some reason. Speaking of Gengi, Bladeofchaos is the one to scout out the hero selection of the red team.
Definitely, and as we're looking at right now, looks like not even Ice, however, is going to get the first blood from Team Gengi off of Bladeofchaos, which ironically is Gengi. But that's not going to stop them from pushing in.
It's a good pin by Mysta here. Mysta's going to force the engagement. It looks like red team Maga is going to push into Team Gengi right now. Between the Genji and the Reinhardt pin being successful, the red team is forcing their issue right now. Kartprowler coming up with a very quick nano boost, though, and boosting their Reinhardt. Kane just boosting that Reinhardt alone is going to be a stop to this team fight. They need to get this McCree out of here. Not even Ice has not been taken care of yet. But as he goes down to the blue team's Genji now, looks like the blue team had a chance with their Reinhardt, but once he went down, Bladeofchaos left all by himself here on point A.
Yeah, it was pretty much what we saw was a pretty effective domino effect. Not sure if Team Maga was ready entirely for that. I think it was more or less, kind of flopping around, noticing, oh, one person died, the backbone of the team died. Where do we go from now? And they kind of just went around jumping about, not really together, in the beginning. So generally speaking, a lot of people just kind of fell apart. But I'm pretty sure they're gathering their bearings, trying to get some changes going on. We definitely have some more sniping going on from Ana up the top. Really good vantage point as usual. Trying to get themselves some really nice positioning so they can hopefully stop this payload from moving. Just about 5 minutes remaining.
Speaking of falling apart, we just saw Dragonblade come out from the red team's Genji earlier. Or actually, I believe it was a blue team's Genji, but he actually died with it so quickly, he ended up retaining most of his ultimate. So we see a bit of a Reinhardt scramble right now. The Reinhardts are playing for position, kind of not being backed up. Both teams are really spread out right now, but Camofudge receiving the nano boost is going to lay his Earth Shatter down. And with the help of his McCree Spyrunite, that was basically just Reinhardt and McCree from the blue team cleaning up all by themselves as they were pushed up. Reinhardt was nano boosted. Really nice cleanup here in the streets phase, and now Spyrunite has high ground vision as well.
Exactly, a really great play again from the Reinhardt and from the rest of the team, and now they want to immediately try getting back on that high point. But as we're seeing right now, McCree, Spyrunite is the only one right there up the top, and he's getting contested right now by DF1 by the Genji, and of course there you go, Gengi.
DF1 is going to start this team fight. Very, very nice. If you guys didn't notice, we had the biotic grenade come out from Ana, which actually stopped DF1 dead in his tracks. Not being able to be healed during his Dragon Blade really stopped him. We have a Reinhardt hammer fight happening, and another biotic grenade comes out from Ana along with her Ana ult boost. Oh my goodness, Kane, Kartprowler has done an incredible job just farming ultimate this whole game. It seems like every time there's a fight that's important, Camofudge is getting nano boosted by their Ana, and it's really, really solidifying their holds.
And that's pretty much what this entire composition's relying on. Kartprowler and Camofudge really being able to constantly put out that bursting, composition together, and it really requires Kartprowler to really build that ultimate. It doesn't build as fast as most people would think. You really need to land your hits. You really need to take advantage of the very fast, firing firing speed that Ana pretty much has. You're able to hit really fast and generally get a lot of ult charge so long as you can hit something. And keeping in the distance that the Kartprowler's been able to keep at, they've always been able to get very close. And as you're already seeing right now, 70%, moving on 80%, getting ready for that ultimate. Camofudge following in, and you're about to have an entire 6v5? No, 6v4 ult right now.
Looks like it. Looks like they want to finally start the team fight. We finally see the first Graviton Surge come out in this game. It comes out from Phenomnom, who is a known Cal League competitor, usually playing DPS classes, but Phenomnom looks like they're playing Flex, playing Zarya. A very well-timed Graviton Surge there easily cleans up the red team. We're working on a lot of ultimates with both teams right now, though, Kane. So looking for a red team to engage with something big here, but they're still lacking a Graviton Surge on their side.
They're lacking a very hard deal of initiation, though at least they're about to even it up. Now Camofudge and Mysta both having their Earth Shatters. Right now, Kartprowler, however, is going to give it to
Very
Camofudge.
Surprisingly, Camofudge spends their Earth Shatter first and actually is going to come up with a successful push here just based on that Nano Boost. Again, Nano Boost is really saving the day here. Kartprowler is just doing a great job of staying alive and Nano Boosting at the appropriate time. I really thought the red team's Reinhardt was going to get something started, but not at all.
Were you actually able to see right there? Again, great job in using the Earth Shatter beforehand. They still have the damage nullification of Itsbeckerz sound barrier. They still have the defensive sound barrier. And while this does now give Gengi the opportunity to get some real good damage and pushing the cart, do recognize that only just a minute and a half left remaining. This payload's been pushed all the way back to where it was previously.
And as you said, 2 support ultimates are ready for the red side. They finally spend them both. Team Gengi spending pretty much all of their ultimates in this situation to get the successful team fight. It looks like they're going to eat the Graviton Surge of Phenomnom from the blue team, but they had way too many ultimates ready. Between Transcendence and Sound Barrier, they just had way too much healing, way too much shields. They were able to get through the street section, it looks like. Kane, I think there's going to be another big fight here right by the jail, though.
In terms of big fight, I think what you mean is Bladeofchaos being able to pay all kinds of dividends, getting nice kills right now, being able to only be the one person with an actual viable ult, whereas the rest of the team did not have a lot. As you can see now, there's 3 ults coming in right now from Team Maga, but Gengi alone, from Bladeofchaos from Team Maga right there, was actually able to do pretty good and just picking off a few frags. I would say, a very risque move to use at that point in time, given the fact that there is about a minute left or so. They could have had a pretty good push, or at least been able to push the occasion and making that a 5v6, but they now have 3. Once again, Camofudge and Kartprowler, that comp, those double ults, which have been wiping up Team Gengi right now.
Oh, I know you saw that sleep dart. Mysta landed a nice Reinhardt versus Reinhardt pin, but was put to sleep by Ana right away. Bladeofchaos, like you said, paying dividends with the Dragon Blade. Kane, that's the sacred Dragon Blade that only Hanzo and Gengi can control. Nobody can control the dragons but the Shimada, and Genji Shimada has really been carrying the street phase here. It looks like the blue team might be being cleaned up, though. There's not enough DPS around. There's not a tank around. Just a Lucio is fighting. Oh my goodness, and we have a nano boosted McCree. He's fighting a McCree who's using his Deadeye. Not even Ice gets taken out really quickly, and I can't believe this, Kane. The blue team looks like they're going to hold this cart right now. Everything from sound barriers going down, the payload salsa, as we have deemed it in the Cow League. Everybody dancing around the payload, but a nice trickle-in effect there from the blue team, actually resulting in the hold there in overtime. They have a great cart hold so far.
What can you say? It's overtime. Your Reinhardt's down. Your Zarya's down. Your Gengi doesn't have ult. You see yourself a McCree and you have Ana. You're sitting there pretty with your Nano Boost. What do? You give it to the McCree and you hope your McCree can left click to save your life. And from what we saw, Spyrunite taking full advantage of that Nano Boost and actually getting in a couple of frags, or at least allowing for the rest of his team to kind of get in there, you know, really kind of frag out and take out whatever teammates that they can, you know, giving yourself a pretty beefy McCree. You know, that 200 HP practically becomes 350 or so when you give them that Nano Boost. And, you know, I gotta say, it was one of those last-ditch efforts, but being so close to that second checkpoint, it was probably the best idea, you know, the best usage, rather, of using. Because what you don't want to do is allow for your team to fall and piecemeal together, and you could have used that ult. You could have used those 1 or 2 ultimates to really kind of solidify or at least hold the point while the rest of your team crowd together. So, really great play again, Kartprowler on Camofudge. But I gotta give it to Kartprowler as you know, person of the game, or at least the round, as it were. Kartprowler doing a whole lot of work for Team Maga. Great utilization of the ultimates, great precision play, and being the fact that she was able to build that ultimate, if not every fight, is amazing, and true testament to how an Ana is supposed to be played. So really great play from Maga.
Yeah, Kartprowler looking really good here. We have a bit of a not old school or new school meta pick for the supports here. Team Red this time is now running a Mercy and a Zenyatta instead of the very, very typical Zenyatta and Lucio combination. We're just a few seconds away from spawning right now, Kane.
Indeed we are, and it looks like we're going to get ourselves quite the aggressive push going on. Are they going to push in immediately? Is Team Maga playing to keep up their momentum, keeping up that aggression to hopefully really psych out Team Gengi right now? Laisren on the Zarya going up on the balcony to try to get in some harassment, but figuring out that harass is actually getting countered. It's not going to do too well for them. And here they are, they're going in. Camofudge doing a great charge, being able to push back Mysta, but it looks like they're having a bit of a problem actually taking them out, but they're actually going to get it. The rest of Team Maga really taking advantage of the aggressive push that they had and just piecemealing Team Gengi away from the point, and they're going to take this easily. 6 minutes left to spare on that clock, and already they're starting to show that their aggression holds no bound. They're already moving in, not even trying to allow for Team Gengi to get onto the point, not allowing them to get on any kind of high ground whatsoever. DF1 on the Reaper, doing everything he can to try to hold off, but as we can see right now, he is not going to have too much fairness right now against Bladeofchaos, who's going to just scare him away. Wasn't even up on the elevator, but did enough to scare him, knowing that that presence meant that he was not going to have any kind of advantage. No support from his team whatsoever, though DF1 is going to take advantage and actually take out the Bladeofchaos. But what Team Gengi is not realizing is that that payload is still moving. Team Maga has full control over it right now, and Mysta and the rest of Team Gengi are getting on that point ASAP. Spyrunite with a great pickoff right there of Laisren's Zarya, and not even Nice, however, is going to go ahead and return the favor, taking out Spyrunite. And here you have it. Gengi is finally looking like they're taking back their field, trying to get back on their payload, realizing, you know, guys, the upper ground is important and all, but that payload has to stop moving. DF1 moving in, doing his best to try to flank as Mysta takes out Phenomnom. It's going to force Team Maga to group up together. DF1's gonna pop over that Death Blossom, and he's gonna take out Bladeofchaos, but they're only gonna get a few. Camofudge with an Earthshatter, but it's gonna whiff as Mysta's shield comes in and immediately stunts all development right there. Spyrunite taking out Mysta as Camofudge does the same to DF1. Not even actually gonna take out Camofudge in the Resurrection. That classic Mercy Res is gonna bring back up DF1, and here comes the Tortness Suck! The Tortness Suck going on Team Gengi, and Bladeofchaos is gonna move in, taking out Mysta, and there goes the main front line. Laisren being the only that there's going to be up right now, as, oh my gosh, the nano boost goes to Itsbeckerz. Lucio taking out DF1. The nano boosted Lucio paying the dividends as he's going in as well. Phenomenon's going to get taken back. The payload is still moving. Maga is doing what they need to do. Camofudge is going to go in. They're going to take out Rylan, and there goes the Mercy right now as Mysta goes on a warpath but gets taken down by Itsbeckerz. The Lucio paying absolutely no mind as they're going to continue on the offensive warpath. Spyrunite, however, with a great double as they're ensuring that they're trying to pick off DF1. the only one holding off as Laisren goes ahead with another Tort and a Sun, trying to wipe up. This is one messy, very funnel factoring fight as both teams continue to move in, but it is definitely in the favor of Team Maga right now. Spyrunite, the rest of the team, they're gonna be able to push and get that payload to where it needs to go. Great, messy, and what a rambunctious fight that was, but Team Maga is definitely gonna take it. And as we can see it, Bladeofchaos doing great jobs with the solos, going in with really great Dragon Blade play. We're getting able to take out so many people right there, just as you can see it. Really great stuff. That's the kind of stuff, that is the stuff of legends. But ladies and gentlemen, Team Maga is going to take it over Team Gengi, and whew, that was something else. I have to give it to the Lucio, though, as just a side note. Really great offensive play from the Lucio. But needless to say, that was a really great round. We will see what's going to happen next in the next fight. We're going to bring it on back to the desk. I have been, that's Gotta Be Kane, casting along with Aaron LOL. So we will see you guys in a bit.
What an exciting and little chaotic game we saw there, guys. I mean, it was a lot to take in, that's for sure. But Ruik, what do you want to say about Maga's offense? I mean, defense at the beginning there.
So Maga's defense at the beginning, it felt like they were all really well huddled together. But I noticed in the beginning they didn't deal with the McCree that was running around back for most of the first team fight. And that kind of was their downfall there. They had that DPS right at their back, and they didn't really touch it or do anything to block it or counter it. So that ended most of their supports and their heals in the back.
Yeah, I think that the not dealing with McCree's was like a trend on both sides, because once you got into the streets phase of that map where Maga ended up holding Gengi. That's not Gengi. What was that play on words? Gengi? Gengi. That's the word. I like it. They ended up holding Gengi. It was one thing is the McCree for Maga was just sitting on the rooftops and not getting dealt with one bit. I think that he did a lot of work for them. I mean, a lot of both Aaron and Kane were looking at Kartprowler and Camofudge a lot, but I think that their McCree was kind of the unsung hero there. He was getting a lot of damage down and able to secure a lot of kills from that position.
Yeah, and he did a good job of just staying out of the way of the enemy team and not looking like an immediate threat. But the whole time he was laying down the law per se. He was telling the time.
Oh yeah.
But, I also noticed the Mercy and Zenyatta defense that came out that second round. It didn't really hold up like they wished it had, and I think it might have just been because of that AoE heal was missing. They didn't have that all around health buff per se that they should have had.
Yeah, and I think that with Mercy, you basically are saying that you're going to be, that you're going to be down in that first fight just because you don't have the effectiveness of a Lucio or what they didn't have, and that ult's not going to get up fast enough. You either have to win that first fight, which you're fighting almost what feels like a man down, or you have to be saying, okay, we're going to lose this first point, but we're going to have res up for our other fights like on streets phase. And I think that they just didn't have that room to play with because they weren't able to complete streets at all. So I think that that hurt them a lot, just losing that point so fast. Right.
And even after they lost the point and they still had the Mercy, I didn't really see any Mercy ults that were that important. And that goes for the whole red team defense as a whole. I mean, their whole defense was ults here and there, but they never combined them into something that could have been greater. It always felt like a emergency ult where they were trying to hold it last minute, or someone who was about to combo with them died, so they decided to do it anyways. And I felt like that was one of the big downfalls they had on that defense, is they just didn't combine any of their strengths together.
Mm-hmm. It did. It felt like they did a lot of discombobulated ultimates. I know that we saw Gengi go alone into the backline of Maga and just try to ult and just immediately died. He got stunned, and I think Reaper used his death loss him on him too. So that was 2 wasted ults, but then Gengi didn't capitalize on it at all. that they had two relatively large ults down. They only had the follow-up from their Reinhardt come in, try to Earth Shatter, but Zenyatta was already using Transcendence on the side of Maga, so it was too late.
Right. And I don't know if you noticed as well, but the Reinhardt Mysta, I think it was on red team, if I'm correct. It might have been a blue team. I'm not sure at the top of my head, but he was a very good Reinhardt at just charging in at those exact perfect moments to just nail down one person and then force everybody back because they're missing either their tank or, a very important character. And that was a very important role that was probably understated in those fights.
Yeah, I think that was on the side of Gengi, which I think is why they did as well as they did, and was able to push it as far as they could. I think that in the future, their Zarya could have helped him out a lot more, and I think that was something that they struggled with because he would get stunned a lot, or he would take a lot of damage on his way charging into the enemy team.
Right, and those Reinhardt charges that they took, the Zarya could have shielded and totally negated the charge, and they could have punished the Reinhardt, but it just never happened. So it was just a lot of discombobulation in there, and it was probably just a lack of communication as a whole.
Well, that's kind of how it goes with these Minutemen tournaments. I think that as you start going down the bracket, these teams they play a little more with each other, and then the teamwork just gets better and better. And oftentimes you'll see similar like 3 maps because that's what people are comfortable on. You're going to see Kings Row, Hollywood, and Dorado a lot throughout the tournament because those are the main 3 maps. That's like the Inferno, the Dust 2, and the Cache of Overwatch for any of you CS:GO fans. But it looks like we're just still waiting for our other game. But one thing I did want to mention about communication is that I think as a whole, there didn't seem to be a lot of I don't want to say target calling, but at least focus from either team really at the start. So I think they might struggle going into this next match here. Maga, I believe they will be up against, I can't remember, but so one thing I would say, though, they will be against Megameat, but one thing I do want to mention is with Minutemen, I don't even know if we explained it at the beginning. So what Minutemen is, it's a pickup game tournament. So you will sign up as a solo player, and there's tons of other solo players signing up with you, and you get put into teams at random. And so this creates kind of a really different feel to the game rather than the 5 other guys you've played with for 6 months. If you played in beta as long up to 8 or 9 months now, if you back and close beta 1. And so now you're with 5 other people. You may or may not know them. There's a good chance you don't if you don't know what Minutemen is. And you queue up with them and you are faced against other teams that are in the same circumstance. And I think it's a great way to get some practice in. It's a really good way to meet new people. And if you're looking for teams, it really helps players figure out like who's good and who's not just based on individual skill.
Right. And not just that, but it's basically, competitive mode in Overwatch, but it takes it to a whole new level because you're all know that if you win this one, you go on to the next one together, and you have to really coincide and work together at a whole other level than you would just playing normal, competitive Overwatch. So it adds a new level of communication. It enforces teamwork. There's less of the I'm gonna Hanzo main and I'm not gonna do anything else kind of mentality. More than likely, everybody's gonna work together in some way or another. So.
Yeah, it's definitely for guys that come from that like playing competitive and they just want to take it from just matchmaking, take it to that other level. I think it's a good time to join into, especially when the competitive is down until we get to season 2. But before we go to break here, I do want to mention one of our sponsors, Master Overwatch. Master Overwatch is a really good site for basically seeing if you're up to snuff with other players. You get to compare your stats. You get a really detailed list of your stats, your accuracy, your average energy, if you're like a Zarya, like whole 9 yards, your deaths, your KDR. And you get to compare that with every other person in the game, and you get to see ratings for matchmaking if that's something that's important to you. And they do now have a looking for group tab too. They have a nice little feature where you can go in, you could post if you're looking for people either for a team or just to play competitive with. So that's a really nice feature. So go check them out at masteroverwatch.com. And I have been Joneskis. This is Ruik, and we're going to take a little break. We'll be back to you in just a bit.
Hello again, Twitch buddies. Aaron LOL here, joined by Kane again tonight. We are broadcasting to you the competitive Overwatch League Minutemen number 11. Both Kane and I, as you can hear by Kane's excitement, we just want to say thank you to you Twitch viewers for showing up tonight. The Cow League works hard on these productions, and we're bringing this content for you and the amateur community. For free, Kane said. For free.
For free! I don't get many free things, man. I like free things.
And we put love into this.
Oh, I put so much love, like I put the gravy in my potatoes, man. It's love.
Oh, Kane, I love me some gravy. Damn, yo.
Oh, man, I love gravy. Gravy on grits, gravy on potatoes, gravy on biscuits, gravy on Kellogg's, you name it. Gravy is good. And you know what's better than gravy?
Overwatch.
Some Overwatch, boys! Overwatch!
Too easy. All right, Kane. We're back with another team that we just saw victorious on Hollywood again here as the map bans have played out. This time we have a really fun team name. The blue team defending right now, running again with Kartprowler. The blue team is going to be, I'm sorry, blue team not with Kartprowler. Blue team on defense here. Mega Meat. Red team here, Team Maga. And we have spawned on Hollywood now.
Go. Team Maga is going to go ahead and start on this offense. Camofudge and the rest of the crew getting in with that really great speed boost. Enjoy it while it lasts, boys, as they get into position, getting ready right now, trying to bait out whatever kind of attacks that they can as Mrkillboytv and the rest of the crew looking like they want to stand back. They don't want to get too close. They don't want to be susceptible to any kind of charges, making sure that if any one person, any one Reinhardt does a charge, it's going to be a pretty hard commitment, and they don't want to mistake that really great unison and team coordination coming in from Team Maga as they keep themselves together before they decide to try to go in. There goes the charge, but it does miss.
So this golden Reinhardt hammer going in the entire time. I mean, I kid you not, for the past 20 seconds, Kane, Bladeofchaos has gone uncontested. The red team is about a frag or two up right now. Team Maga is all over point A, chasing a Zarya and a Reaper out of the cafe, making Zenyatta and Reaper from Team Blue, Team Megameat run for their lives right now. This should be a pretty easy cap for the red team here, Kane. Tell us what happened. There wasn't even really a team fight. It was kind of one of those footsies fights.
It really was. Again, in this early in the competition, you know, not to undermine anyone's skill at all, but, you know, this early while people are still trying to fill out and try to get a feel and a cope for their teams, you know, you have a lot of people that generally sometimes just get out-fragged.
Okay, we got a lot going on here on the lift. Megameat. So Megameat made a move that we see a lot. It's really easy to commentate on, and it's really important. A lot of people in Hollywood literally take 5 or 6 of their team members up on that left-hand lift elevator in the back of the bank, but the blue team, Team Megameat, was actually caught red-handed by the red team. Team Maga just pushed into them as they were trying to take their way up. Right now, Team Red's all over the point. We actually have a forced fight here. Camofudge receiving Kartprowler's nano boost yet again during the blue team's transcendence. Itsbeckerz is 10% away from a speed boost, from a sound barrier right now. Red team's really trying to hang in there till they get the sound barrier to kind of dominate this fight. Sound barrier finally goes down. Red team's all over the cart, literally uncontested right now. This Reaper's not really doing a lot of work right now. He's sitting with a Death Blossom ready, but he's just letting his team get walked on. I mean, literally walked on.
Literally walked on, ran over, if you want to include the payload, and not the greatest Death Blossom at all. Very desperate move, something that would have arguably been saved, given the fact that now you have, of course, Team Maga moving in pretty much with all the time in the world now, with about 6.5 minutes moving in, as they start going in down towards the hangar, and rather down in the garage and trying to get onto that last point. You know, Novaxplosion getting the pickoff of Spyrunite.
The aggression is just not stopping from the red team. I mean, Maga is really just pushing over and over. They're keeping their Ana on the cart. They're consistently pushing. Camofudge is doing a great job taking real estate and laying down damage for his team. Just as I say laying down damage, Camofudge is going to receive a second nano boost from his Ana here. Oh my goodness, Kane, he's gotten so many Earth Shattered.
And a great interception by Bladeofchaos, taking out the Gengi on the enemy team of Team Mega Meat. Really great stopping of that ult, especially with the sound barrier that went down, pretty much nullifying all the damage. And what we're seeing right now is pretty much just a piecemeal work of Team Maga just moving on easy. And at this rate, they're gonna take it with flying colors.
Flying colors indeed, and flying Gengi, as we have Bladeofchaos not only receiving a Zarya bubble, but popping his Dragon Blade as well. Torbnis Steel goes down from Phenomnom just to solidify everything. Mrkillboytv trying to make the play of the century, stop this all by himself. Man, that healing debuff from Ana's Biotic Grenade is playing a really big part into this. I just want to point out that Kartprowler has been doing good. You've seen Ana do well when they're hitting a lot of nano boosts, like this is her third one right now, for instance. But it's really hard to see how good the Biotic Grenade is, and Kartprowler's done a really good job applying the Biotic Grenade in situations where, you know, the enemy Reinhardt needs healing, but he's been debuffed and can't receive any. Just Kartprowler really making Ana look very viable right now.
Exactly, and this is what we wanted to see from Ana players. You know, we wanted to see, but of course, you know, playing a character like Ana, you have to really be comfortable. Not only do you have to be comfortable and feel confident, even in those tight-knit situations where you're not going to necessarily have all the time in the world to sit still or necessarily fire from afar, but you have to be ready. You have to aim those grenades. You have to be able to apply those, whether it be to heal a bulk of your team or to debuff a bunch of the enemy.
Kane, the aggression here from Camofudge. We saw him 1v1ing somebody for about 15 seconds. He fell back, got in a 2v1. His team finally backed him up, and he already had an Earth Shatter ready. I mean, Camofudge is just doing such a good job going forward and not dying at the same time. Dragon Blade and Torbnis Steel being popped from the red team here. Maga looks like they're finally going to cap it now. That's 4 nano boosts in one round, Kane, and it wasn't even a fully fleshed out round.
It's like you were saying, there was so much aggression, but then again, so much just dominance and confidence coming in from Team Maga. So much so that if you notice, you know, the sound barriers coming out from Lucio on the red team, on Team Maga, you know, they were coming out almost delayed. Like, they didn't need to use it. You know, you had the nano booster coming out from Kartprowler, you know, going on to Camofudge, and he alone with Bladeofchaos, you know, and Spyrunite, you know, they were just fragging and picking up and doing so much damage. Basically, Team Mega Meat was not putting out enough damage to even warrant the sound barrier to come out from Itsbeckerz. So you generally had sound barriers coming out when the team would try to re-corral, you know, when Mega Meat would corral themselves together to go in for a final push, and they got all that they need. But you still have about 2 ultimates up from Team Maga, and then, you know, the sound barrier comes out, and now you have all the only last bits of DPS coming in. You know, it's all been, you know, nullified. And basically what we saw was pure aggression. They ran everything at their pace. They controlled the speed and the pace of battle from beginning to end. Absolute destruction, devastation.
I think that's a good way to put it, is with how Camofudge was playing aggressively, and just his Gengi was always busy and his McCree was always by his side or near his healers, kind of controlling the speed and the pace of the battles. You mentioned that their sound barriers didn't get used at typical times, and I think what Kane's bringing up is a lot of the times we see Transcendence or sound barrier used as initiation tools or almost like engagement tools, or kind of like a sloppy fight started on purpose just so you could pop a sound barrier Transcendence. This is to the point where Team Maga is performing so well that their sound barriers were needed much later in the fight, not really needing them as engagement tools. Guys, my name's Aaron LOL. I'm joined by That's Gotta Be Kane here again tonight for the Cow Minutemen number 11. We're spawning on Hollywood. The difference being this time the red team with a very good push time before Team Maga now on the defense. Still running Gengi on defense.
Still running Gengi on defense, and generally that comes from having very great confidence as well as comfortness when playing on Gengi. And of course, you know, and like I said, enjoy it while it lasts. A lot of that stuff might change during the coming patch notes, I mean, with the nerfs, but right now, just pure confidence coming in from Team Maga as they're able to piecemeal so many of Team Mega Meat.
Okay, so Bladeofchaos fell back after his team already had 2 frags up here. Not much more to say. The blue team pushed in very well. They speed boosted through the back corridor alley, and they decided they were going to engage through there. Very nice engagement on their part, but they died 2 frags in really early. I gotta bring up, Bladeofchaos is playing Gengi so well that he's detached from his team when he should be, but right when his team is in a 6v6 situation, Bladeofchaos is right there with him.
Really great awareness. Again, that's the kind of comfort you need to have when playing Genji. At the same time, you need to be very precise. Again, he knows when to flank and to go out and knows when to get back to the scene.
Here's another nano boost onto Camofudge. Camofudge basically only picking up one person with his Earth Shatter. Does not matter though. By the time Camofudge's Earth Shatter is already spent, 2 people are fragged. We're at a 3-to-1 frag advantage for the red team right now. Team Megameat is really
right now.
Say it.
Camofudge alone, even after the nano boost was over, he alone pretty much pushed back the rest of Team Megameat to just splitting them all back. Now they're forced to regroup. So it's that fear almost. It's almost like they're playing a few mental games. It's like, you know, the fear of a charging Reinhardt at you, even without nano boost, is pretty fair.
I will give Team Megameat credit this though. They are not delaying their pushes. They're not playing unconfident. They're speed boosting in and fighting right away. A big frag advantage. There are 4 people now, all 6 people dying. A complete team kill here from Team Maga. Megameat goes down and all 6 of them. I gotta say though, Megameat is engaging correctly. They're gathering up as 6 and they're pushing. They're just not really getting the fragging done, it looks like.
Right, they have all the tools. They necessarily have everything that they need, but it's just the execution. I have to admit, you know, when that first fight came in with all the rest of the team, I honestly have to say I didn't see what happened. I just saw everyone die so fast. If I had to call it, I probably...
It was really what you think it was, Kane. It was McCree and Zarya doing all the damage for the red team. We have a forced engagement here. Both Reinhardts hit each other. The red team has spent their Torpnus Steel already. I'm sorry. This was the blue team's Torpnus Steel to very little success. Mrkillboy finally getting some kills here in Reinhardt. We see a nano boosted Zarya now. She is going to be the last defense here for the red team. Team Maga desperately trying to fight a 3-on-2, now 4-on-2 with just Zarya and Kartprowler. Bladeofchaos finally shows up to the scene to see if he can save this point A for his team. This is really Megameat's like second to last push. They need to cap this A right now.
They do. Just a minute under remaining as Camofudge is going in, desperate trying to get the kill, and he actually takes out Novaxplosion with their own pulse bomb with perfect timing, shield, and great awareness as he was near them. And it looks like even with a minute remaining, with only 2 on the part, Bladeofchaos dancing and doing everything he needed to get on that point, dance around, and just hold it. An amazing awareness by Camofudge, an amazing play by Team Maga, being able to clean this up. Just 30 seconds left. This is gonna be the final play and push to the game. Either Megameat is able to corral and push on and do what they need to do to grab this point to continue this game, or it's gonna go ahead and flush, and we're gonna have your winners. This is now going on towards the end. 15 seconds remaining. Megameat is gonna be forced to act.
I really feel like Megameat is like working together well as a team. They're just not executing. We see a Torpnus Steel coming down from Phenomnom on the red team. Zarya, Camofudge finally going down. This is the opportunity they need. Big boy, Mrkillboytv gets a good Earth Shatter. Unfortunately, not enough people have gone down. There are too many red people alive on the cart right now. Team Maga looking very, very strong right now. They're really just warding off this Tracer. We're going to see a little bit of infinite overtime. This is literally the last push for Team Megameat. Oh, that Earth Shatter just intercepting everybody's hopes and dreams on Megameat. Team Megameat just going down. Now the overtime fuse ticking down even faster due to Blizzard's most recent patch. Whew, man, Team Maga's looking like the strong team tonight, Kane.
Team Maga is definitely showing the prowess that goes in. Camofudge and, of course, the power of Kartprowler. They were showing a lot of prowess coming in, showing absolutely no relentlessness within their attacks, though I have to really give it to Team Megameat. They really showed the composition that they needed. They constantly grouped up. They didn't falter. They played confidently, and they did everything in their power to assure that they always kept the point active and keeping people on their toes. So great props out to Megameat, but I guess you could say Team Maga rather like their meat well done, and
they cooked them.
They cooked them well done. But we will definitely be keeping on with some more competitive Overwatch, and we will see you guys in the next round. So we're going to bring it on back to desk. See you guys.
This is the Minutemen number 11. My name's Aaron LLL, joined by That's Gotta Be Kane tonight. We're going back to Joneski's and Ruek. Thanks for joining us on Twitch TV tonight, guys.
Wow, guys, that was a lot closer match than the previous one, and you can definitely tell. I think, though, in the end, the team that defended the best was kind of the winner here, and Team Megameat kept getting those really good flanks in, but didn't really capitalize, and they kept going in one by one, which I think was their biggest problem. Joneskies, did you notice the same thing?
Yeah, no. So Megameat, they really had good flanks. Like you saw on first point, they flanked all the way around backside through hallway, but then they just went in one by one, and I don't know what they were thinking. They got initially their Gengi got picked off, just trying to doing his jam, just being the best little samurai he could be. He just ended up getting picked off right at the beginning, and then like what seemed like to be a really promising push just like dissolved so quickly, for at least for Megameat's push, just because they kept going in one by one. And one thing which you might have more to comment on here, but they didn't stay behind the Reinhardt shield. I felt like the Reinhardt shield on the side of Megameat just wasn't getting utilized at all.
Yeah, they were the two Reinhardts were kind of having a sock'em bock'em robot match. It was kind of like my first kiss, where like we were trying to figure out whose tongue goes in whose mouth, but the shield just wasn't there. And every time that the Megameat's shield went down, the Reinhardt just got dropped really fast, or the Ana just slept him. And it was really just a one-sided battle because there was no Reinhardt defense. It was like a Reinhardt offense. And that just doesn't, work out when you don't have more defense to back that up, especially without the Zarya shields hitting the correct places. So, I really feel like that was super important. And they didn't really capitalize on, the other team's mistakes. Multiple times, Camofudge did the same thing. He went too aggressive. He wasn't with his team. They didn't capitalize like the other team did, where they, just either flashed him down, slept him, and killed him, or just did all the damage. They kind of let things go,
Mm-hmm. And I think that was like the biggest thing, is just like your first kiss. It felt awkward. Like nothing seemed to like really click, and it didn't feel like they had a connection with that team at all. So I think that was my biggest issue. I mean, that's the growing pains of just getting with the Minutemen, with just getting this pug team that like a lot of these guys are struggling with. They're struggling with knowing how to play around each other. That a lot of that is extremely hard. And I think that Team Maga is just I think they're realizing the mistakes these other teams make and just capitalizing on them a lot better than their own mistakes, because they're making plenty of mistakes themselves. It's just that you don't see anybody really punishing them for it.
Right. But do you think did you notice that Maga this time was more of a cohesive group than last time? The Gengi didn't kind of jump past his own team and go out on his own quite as much. He kind of stuck in and took out the players that were sticking their necks out and, kind of going after the people who were away from their own group, which I thought was a lot better than the last game. And at the same time, you're not noticing Maga losing a lot of health. Their health is up most of the time when they're not in a team fight, and you can tell the Ana is doing a lot of work there. The Lucio, of course, is doing his AoE heals, and that's always super important. But I feel like the Ana heals are great right here. She's doing a really good job.
Yeah, I think the story of these past two games really, it has been that. I mean, a lot of people don't realize the healing output of Ana. You can do it's 80 or 100 healing every single second, as long as you're hitting your shots consistently and you have somewhat decent aim. You can do more healing than any other character in the game right now. That might change with the new Mercy buffs coming in, but at the moment, Ana is the strongest healer, and I think that's showing because you see Camofudge, he'll be going in really aggressively, and he'll make a few mistakes, but the thing is the Ana is just throwing shot after shot on him and just keeping him alive. And the ultimate from the Nano Boost, it just comes up so quick that it's a 50% damage reduction on the target. And so that helps even more on whoever Ana's hitting. And I think this time you didn't really see any flubs like last game, how Ana ended up ulting the Lucio. That was pretty funny to watch, but you didn't see that happen this time. And I think that definitely benefited them a lot more.
Yeah, and I noticed something on the first round of that match that I noticed a lot of teams do. So when the attacking team got the first point, the defending team was trying to run up and go through that side hallway with the health pack to try and push in for that last defense. But they noticed they didn't quite make it, so they all kind of grouped up on the side with the elevator. And by doing that, they lose a lot of that forward ground hold that the path of the objective takes. You know, the payload's moving along a path and they're not in the way of the path. So even if they do a really great job of defending and surviving, that payload is still moving uncontested. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of teams make. And then, of course, you saw that hilarious Zarya ult where they were all on top of the elevator, not being able to move, which I thought was just peach pie right there.
At first, I really didn't think it was going to do that much, which as far as killing anybody, it didn't. But the big thing is it made it so they couldn't get on rooftops at all. And so I think Zarya using that ult really did what she needed to do. And again, the big thing on Hollywood is just making those distractions so you can have one or two people just pushing that cart. That's a really viable strategy to get the cart really far on Hollywood rather than just what you usually see, which is just grouping for team fights and winning the fights. And so I think that's something really interesting about Hollywood that you saw getting utilized really well there. But one thing is that, at least for the offensive Maga, one thing they did really well is they just did what I like to call bleed their opponents. So you just stagger their respawns really consistently in between points. Like you saw in the first point, they didn't completely wipe the enemy team. Whether it was on purpose or not, they killed at least one or two of the enemy team a little bit after the rest of their team. So they weren't able to stay as a cohesive group. And that's something they did through into second point and then into third point, and that helped them a lot. Like you see, they didn't really lose too many team fights till they got to the end there, where they lost that one big team fight that cost them a little bit of time. But since it's not stopwatch, it's not really a big deal there, and they were able to just clean up on that second push and just win.
Right. Yeah. And you know, a lot of the mistakes were made on both teams. So the biggest thing in these amateur tournaments is everybody makes the mistakes, you know, and so the better teams that come on top are the teams that capitalize on the other team's mistakes. And I think that goes all the way up to professional tournaments as well. So that's a big skill that a lot of teams learn, that a lot of individual players coming together, it really shows, you know, what kind of players they are. And another thing is I'm kind of asking myself the question here, the next team that, you know, Maga's going to fight, I wonder if the opposite team's going to ban, you know, this map, Hollywood, because, you know, they've come through and they've been on the screen twice now. So I wonder if anybody's been watching and they might ban Hollywood now that they've seen that they played it twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, they've seen two really dominant performances, one after another. And I mean, there's so many other maps that players are comfortable on. Like you have the King's Hill, you have King's Row, you have the Numbani. It's a bit more of a stealth pick, but then you have that Dorado. So, I mean, you have a lot of choices, and if they want to go like a little crazy, you can do Route 66. It's not played much, but it's like these maps are really interesting, and it could really put a wrench in the machine of Maga. So, I mean, that's something to really look at. But before we go to a break, I do want to mention another one of our sponsors, Matcherino. So, Matcherino, what they're doing, they're a crowdfunding tournament organizer, I guess you would call them. And they help out Cow Open a lot by essentially donating free money through you guys, the viewers. And that's how we raise money for our Cow Open. It's through crowdfunding, so you can donate as much money as you want. There's a point system for when you're watching our streams too, that every minute you get a point for Matcherino that you can then, once you get enough, there's different prizes. If you look at our page, links are in Discord every single week. You can check out. You get a bunch of different prizes. You can choose between whether it's simple as just having the casters call out your name, or you even getting to choose a name of a Minuteman team if you want to go get a little crazy up in here. But one thing you can do for the Cow Open, which is our Team v Team open tournament every Friday, is you can donate a free $1 to that by going to our Matcherino, clicking on that donate button, and using the code today, this week, it is Cow10. You get to donate a free $1 to the winner of these teams. First and second place do both receive some of the winnings to the prize pool.
Now, Joneskies, is that Cow10 COWTEN or COW10?
COW10 for that. Thank you for the clarification. But with that being said, I am Joneskies, and this is Ruik, and we'll check you after the break.
My name is Aaron LOL, and I'm joined by Kane here tonight.
Hey.
Guys, we're so happy to have you here tonight. The competitive Overwatch League community is a community based on a Discord server. You can find access to the server by visiting the competitive Overwatch subreddit. Very easy to find, just reddit.com/r/competitive Overwatch. We are catering heavily to the amateur community and have a lot of backing from both the community itself and pro players. There are literally thousands of people in the Discord at any given time, depending on what time it is. And again, we're aiming to produce more amateur-based content for the viewers, you guys. So show up, participate, learn something. Kane, we're spawned here on Dorado, no more Hollywood finally. This is personally my favorite map, and a map favorite of the Cow League based on the Arch of Doom.
The Arch of Doom indeed, as we have a very swell history of this very determined, very suffocating Arch. The marketplace, and of course the Arch of Doom being the one place, of course, in which many teams have fallen to. Guess you could say it almost gives defense the upper hand, as it were, but we'll have to see how these both teams play, as Team Maga, being on the blue team on the balcony, goes up against Team 11, a literal meme team, which will be on the payload as the red team.
All right, so deep diving right in, we have a Gengi on both team again. Seems to be a very picked DPS choice of the night. Camofudge doing his thing again here, Kane, being postured very aggressively. You know, something we haven't pointed out yet, we probably have to accredit all of Camofudge's aggression to Kartprowler. I mean, Kartprowler is basically a Mercy at this point, just almost solo supporting Camofudge.
It is pretty much like a Mercy. I mean, what you have is a two-man death squad on those two alone. You know, if those two can work out as well as they can, they are able to completely wipe a team.
We have a very good-looking organized push from the red team. Literal meme team is looking to get things started. Deep is picking up a ton of frags with Dragon Blade. This may as well be a full wipe. The market phase has been taken by the literal meme team. That's not even mentioning the Riptire that has just now expired on the map. Not getting any frags from that Riptire is basically the only saving grace for Team Maga at this moment.
Definitely, Team Maga starting to get a little reeled in. The best thing they can do right now is try to get their leverage and vantage point, of course, on this balcony near the hotels. But as we're starting to see, by the church rather, what we're starting to see is that the only one being on top right now is Phenomnom. Is Deep is starting to play the role of Bladeofchaos. They're moving in, they're starting to pick off, and if anything, just cause some disorientation between Team Maga. But of course, Spyrunite is going to pick them off before they can really get anything done. But as we're seeing, the payload is still moving. They're going on past the church, moving on towards the bank. We have more vantage points given by Team Maga as they're starting to hold this bridge, but it's already going underneath it. We're moving on over here towards the courtyard.
Oh, Camofudge wants to make it happen. It's nano boost time once again. The Earth Shatter's already been spent. Camofudge is low on health. Sound barrier down for Team Maga as they heavily engage on the cart. Deep still picking up frags as Bryth, the Reinhardt, just supporting him as well, and Kane, the red team, is looking unstoppable right now. Literal meme team just perfectly planning their aggression, keeping their Zarya, protecting their Roadhog's buddy Junkrat. Kane, we need to talk about this Junkrat pick. I'm not sure whether the red team was watching Team Maga in this tournament, or if they just know they're facing a Reinhardt, because this Junkrat pick is literally countering Reinhardt's shield like heavily, and I think it's spelling the success for the red team.
It is, and you know, the hardest part about Junkrat is that if you are unable to get any pressure to gank or pick off that Junkrat, those lobbing grenades are just going to do so much damage. And, you know, as we've been able to see right now, you know, Deep has been playing very well in keeping out Bladeofchaos. Amag even having done as much as taking out Blade of Change. As here comes the Riptire. He's trying to hope to get many kills as he can hopefully get right now as he goes in for the explosion. Great duck and dive, but doesn't get too much.
Camofudge is now paired with Spyrunite, his McCree. Camofudge is nano boosted. The blue team's going to be cleaning this up. Bladeofchaos even spending the Dragon Blade. It seems like Team Maga's really desperate right now. It looks like they feel as if they have been pushed into the corner against the ropes here, Kane.
I'm starting to think the same thing, as we saw, you know, almost during that entire second phase as the payload moved on towards the church and bank. They didn't get really any kind of saturated defense set up. They were always down more ults than Team Literal Meme Team, so they always had to fall back more than they would like so that they can at least get their bearings. Otherwise, they were getting picked off, they were getting fragged, you know, almost like the Desk was saying, you know, they were getting bled, you know, for being able to actually get themselves together. And it looks like they finally were able to get themselves in a nice position, but once again, they're in that ultimate deficit. You know, Itsbeckerz being the only one with an ultimate, no one even close to getting something. And Becker's actually just got picked off by Vapormaid, and just like that, you're gonna have a 3 against no ult. And this is probably the best time for Literal Meme Team to go in. And if they do, and they are, this sounds like trouble right now for Maga.
This is a very potent combination. Both a Dragon Blade and Torpid Steel used from the red team. Literal Meme Team popping everything from Dragon Blade to Tranquility, trying to secure the cart. Deep picking up frags. He joined the fight really late because he died a bit earlier. Looks like McCree is the only lifeline for the blue team right now, and he goes down. Reinhardt is going to hit a pin here. Oh, he just gets stopped in the middle of his pin instead. Very nice aggression from the red team here. Literal Meme Team really just using the aggressiveness of both their Gengi and the high damage output of their Junkrat. I really think that maybe countering Reinhardt is actually how you counter Ana.
I would believe so, because again, you know, you might have the batteries, but what are you going to do without your toy? You're just 2 batteries. And, you know, a Nano Boost is like a very strong battery, but the Reinhardt are in which you put the batteries and you put those batteries into so they can start moving. I have 1,000 analogies for what I just said, but I'm just going to use the battery toy analogy. And not the fact that, yeah, if you can counter the Reinhardt, you pretty much limit a lot of the more safer picks. You know, Bladeofchaos, you know, is really arguably the best, you know, choice to use outside of Camofudge. But of course, Bladeofchaos has been picked off quite a few times by Deep, including Amag's Junkrat. I can arguably say that in that round, Team Literal Meme Team simply used their offense, you know, they fought fire with fire. They used Team Maga's offense against them, their aggressiveness against them. You know, the Junkrat being able to essentially counter the Reinhardt with just equal amounts of aggression with those pots off. And just like that, you know, Bladeofchaos having gotten outplayed as Gengi by Deep. And what you simply have is, you know, a very aggressive style team, very precise aggression, you know, simply being countered, you know, and it's because of that, you know, Team Literal Meme Team is able to show, hey, okay, we can beat you with a literal offense. Now, can they do the same, however, on defense? Are they able to translate that kind of power?
So they're running the powerful Junkrat high damage dealer again. We're about 6 seconds away from spawning here on Dorado with Team Maga on attack this time. Kane, we're going to talk about 2 off picks. We have a Junkrat as an off pick, which has already happened. The support shell is now Zenyatta and Kartprowler staying on Ana. We have the classic support shell, Lucio Zenyatta, for the defending team, while Ana and Zenyatta are going to be on the attacking team. So I'm thinking this is going to be like the highest support damage combination you can pull off. We're going to see if this works for the blue team here to get through this arch with their high damage support composition.
Definitely. So what we're seeing now is definitely a battle of the supports. The supports being very key for both teams here. You know, each team is relying on their Reinhardt as they're going in, and as you can see,
speaking of Reinhardt, flying Reinhardt. Spyrunite is pushing in with the Reinhardt. Unfortunately, Riptire comes out very fast in this match. The Riptire is going to kind of even up the frags right now because this Junkrat has not been contested. The Gengi of the blue team is finally getting the Junkrat away from his location of choice. Looks like Team Maga has decided to back up in the meantime, though. They are working on about 3 ultimates right now, so they actually need to push this very moment once they're on ults up. Gengi ult, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so as we're seeing right now, Attanius, however, picking off Bladeofchaos. And as we're starting to see right now, this is now, I would say, the second or third time now in which we've seen Bladeofchaos getting picked off. And it's at times like this.
Kane, we know.
Make you worry and wonder whether or not, if you want to keep on. Sorry, I had to yawn there. It makes you start to wonder or not if you want to keep using a Gengi on these points, seeing as they're almost saying as if they have your number. They're feeling confident when dealing with you.
Amag just showing why they're picking Junkrat, just completely blowing right out of the water. We have a very aggressive push from the red team, just bringing both of their melee classes out into, like, past the cart into the early streets phase. I mean, just pushing the blue team Maga back super far, spending their Graviton Surge to initiate a team fight, even going to the point of having Amag use that Riptire. They've taken a lot of real estate here, but they fell right back to the cart. I feel as if they really dumped their resources. They have a huge ult advantage for the blue team right now. Maga needs to make something work with that advantage.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're being a little bit too cautious right now. They need to move in. They need to secure this next checkpoint. I'm starting to maybe sense some hesitation. They have 3 powerful ults. They have everything that they need to get this done. But as we're starting to see, you know, Deep going in deep, and you know, really just trying to pick off and keep them from making that progress. They're trying to keep them from getting together. And already he's solo popping an ult right now, trying to get any kind of frags. Once again, Kartprowler has been taken out. They cannot even decide to move on with their meta without Kartprowler. And this is now the 3rd time in which they have been fragged, unable to even get to the team.
Man, this is all looking really poor for Team Maga. Team Maga has been dominating in the Minutemen tournament so far, playing their Honor Reinhardt composition quite well, but they are looking to be stumped at the moment. They really need to spend their ultimates to get through this choke point. They need to do it now. We have 55 seconds for the blue team to make it all the way through the first market phase here on Dorado tonight. Kane, we're about to see a fight unfold. Here it is.
The arch. They have to force this.
Camofudge is not even really making anything aggressive happen. He's getting pinned instead all the way back to his spawn. Bryth covered by Sound Barrier. The entire red team covered by Sound Barrier still. Frags pretty even. We're 2 for 2 right now on frags for each team. Spyrunite, McCree is by himself for the blue team in the market phase. He's going to be cleaned up. Zenyatta and Reinhardt are the only blue team members on the cart right now. We have Reinhardt Earthshatter coming out from the blue team, but Team Maga is just going to be stumped. The Reinhardt and Zenyatta cannot fight 4 people by themselves. They don't have the damage. Phenomnom and Kartprowler being pushed back by Deep's Dragon Blade as well. Kane, I think this game's about to end.
Definitely, you know, Deep showing absolutely no remorse. So many frags. They never even got a chance to get what they wanted to get out there. You know, everything was pretty much stunted. Stunted rather. You know, Deep definitely showing a lot of prowess, showing that he knew what he was doing on that Gengi. You know, and I think either if they saw their matches or simply if they out-countered their aggression with their own, they were able to deal with Maga. Literal Meme Team simply played a more aggressive game, but also a more disruptive game. Deep going in, very deep, and taking out a lot of Team Maga. Kartprowler was the focus of that team, and they got taken out so many times they couldn't even get out. So, as we were able to see, Kartprowler, I think this was more of a mental hit to Team Maga more than anything. And I'm thinking what it's going to do is it's going to hit Kartprowler hard. This might force them to switch up their comp entirely. Do they continue with the Reinhardt Ana, or do they go with something else? Do they go with Zenyatta and Lucio again? What do they go more conservative? What do they do, Aaron?
Yeah, I like that you brought up the mental game because being stumped like that so easily, you could say, after seeing such success against other opponents, really could put a hampering on your confidence for the whole team. I personally think they're going to stick with their Reinhardt and Ana and maybe change the classes behind the Reinhardt shield. They already have 1 sniper, so they should be dealing long-range damage just fine. And I honestly think they ran, like I said, Zenyatta and Ana for the high damage composition. So maybe they can make up their damage losses somehow else. We're actually getting ready to go into our next map. We are in the semi-finals of the competitive Overwatch League Minutemen number 11, brought to you by the Cow League, the whole Cow League. There's lots of us working here, but you're hearing Aaron LOL with That's Gotta Be Kane tonight on the live casting for you guys. We are waiting to go to our next map. We're going to be going to Hollywood. Should there be a need for a 3rd map, we'll see a really rare map. We may see Watchpoint Gibraltar tonight as our 3rd map for the semifinals.
Indeed, but of course, going on back to where we were in the beginning, we are once again at Hollywood. Will we be able to see Team Maga really start to show their stuff? We saw them play some really decisive pull out some really decisive victories on this map, both 2 teams in a row. Will they be able to show that same stuff here against Literal Meme Team? As I guess you could pretty much say it was a clean sweep on Team Maga against Literal Meme Team for Dorado. So, hey, maybe we'll see that map favoritism, coming into play with Team Maga here. Will they be able to reverse that? Will they have more control? We saw them in the last 2 games. You know, they controlled the pace of the fight. Maybe it was because they were just really, really good on Hollywood. Will they be able to do the same thing against literal meme team?
That would be kind of cool if the Team Maga was just like highly successful on Hollywood. Again, these teams are randomly produced, you know, via a Discord drafting technique. So they're as close to pickup games as you could get. Again, guys, all of this is brought to you by us, the competitive Overwatch League, known as Cow League, mainly a Discord server. We are also sponsored and partnered with, we're actually partnered with Discord, so the Cow League Discord is great. We are also partners with Matcherino and Random CS for event organization. Matcherino really helping give money to amateur players in these esports today. Kane, we're about 5 seconds away from spawning on Hollywood. The red team this time is Team Maga, who's down 1 map right now against the literal meme team in blue.
Literal meme team in blue on the defense, so they are gonna have to bear the brunt offense coming in from Team Maga. From what we've been able to see in the past, again, they have always kind of held it, but how are they mentally? We know they have the tools. How are they feeling after that first fight? As we can already tell, Camofudge is kind of shying away, not being as aggressive of moving out in the front, having been Discord orbed, and not having his team entirely on the side right now. Bladeofchaos going in, trying to get off some pickoffs, but as we're seeing, Amag having picked off Bladeofchaos as Phenomnom going in, equal pickoff against Attanius.
Oh, wow. Very nice aggression from Deep. A lot of these matches have been Deep and Bladeofchaos kind of finding each other in random spots in the maps and dueling it out. Right now, though, Deep is showing his domination, building his ultimate so fast, and a super smart move by Deep that we just saw. Kane, he picks up 2 Dragon Blade frags, and he just retreats to his team.
Retreats. He went out, grabbed himself a quick snack, went on back and shared it with the flock indeed, taking out 2, bleeding them very dry, and it's gonna be a small bit before Team Maga can get themselves right back on foot. Already being very cautious. Camofudge, Discord orb right now, trying to make sure that that shield does not break, leaving himself vulnerable, trying to get it to wear off, and it does. Bladeofchaos gonna try once again over the balcony to get on, but he gets countered by Deep, and this is what I was talking about, the outplaying of the Genjis. Deep showing that they have no remorse for the enemy right now.
We have an aggressive Earth Shatter from the blue team. I mean, they're not only defending their point, they're actually pushing past their point to push Team Maga back. Deep has also gone uncontested almost this whole game. This is the first time we've seen Deep die. This is do or die for Camofudge and crew. There's a Deadeye being uncontested in the back, Kane. Amag's uncontested Deadeye just brings a complete halt to the red team, Team Maga's push.
And we're starting to see that very much lack of confidence. I can tell that right now, Team Maga, they are very cautious, but we're also starting to see the fact that perhaps they're even just more than cautious, hesitant even. You know, I'm curious on the mental levels right now. Bladeofchaos haven't been picked off at least twice now in this game right now by Deep, and right now it's simply showing some of the more outskilled in play right now, as Deep has only died 1 time this game, and he sits a stock on really nice ult. Attanius right now with the Torment Suck, allowing, of course, for his team, if they can get a pretty good hit, Deep could potentially knock them all out. Itsbeckerz being the only damage mitigation on their team, along with Blade of Chains.
And there it is, the Torment Steel you were talking about coming out from the blue team. Oh, we don't need to say anything else. Deep just picked up 3 frags. This team fight's over. We're going to go talk about Vapormaid over here, because Vapormaid has done a very good job playing a, impactful Zenyatta, but an impactful Zenyatta because nobody has even gotten close to Vapormaid. And I'm not exaggerating. Vapormaid has gone uncontested.
Uncontested this whole game, and he's done so much to pretty much shy the entire front line of their team flying away.
Kane, I think this is the chance for Team Maga. They're pushing through security, so they're very clumped up. They're ahead 2 frags right now. Just as I say that, though, Bryth picks up 2 frags just by charging head first into security. Oh, Kane, I really think Team Maga just lost, you know, there's games where, oh, we're losing, and you get that 1 golden opportunity. I think that was that golden opportunity.
They have 20 seconds left with 3 ultimates. They have 1 last chance, but they need to make it happen right away, and they cannot shy. 15 seconds. Discord orbs coming out from Vapormaid, shying away so much of the team. 10 seconds remaining. They can't afford any kind of flank or any kind of frags. They need to go in, and Spyrunite takes out Deep. This is their opportunity to go in right now.
Harambe jumps in and is just fragged right away by Amag. We saw a change to Winston as we were about 30 seconds away for Team Maga. They have been completely cleaned up at this point by the blue team. Bryth even going with the taunt to solidify their round here. We
Ladies
have
and gentlemen,
dominating performance from the meme team.
the Zookeeper just vaped Harambe yet again, as well as the rest of Team Maga right then and there. We saw a very phenomenal push, including Deep having been getting taken out, fragged out. That is a huge advantage, of course, for Team Maga, but Amag, God.
I'm glad you brought up Amag. So we saw Amag being the one that was playing Junkrat earlier. Yeah. Oh, I did. I saw that.
I said Amag, God.
Yeah.
I got jokes.
Oh, we know, Kate. That's why we got you here. I find it incredible that you can lay down the jokes, lay down the hype, and actually be informative all at the same time. So we're on the subject of Amag, the one who was playing Junkrat earlier just to counter Reinhardt's shield. And we spoke briefly of a Zenyatta going uncontested, but Amag, with the Deadeyes, not even like Deadeyeing at the right time, Amag has done an amazing job of being an uncontested McCree that has just laid down damage, whether it's medium range or long range, the entire time. Amag magically shows up when his Gengi deep needs help and picks up the frag, and then Amag also literally saves their Deadeye for the perfect time. Just these things combined, like Amag must either play every hero in this game really well or just play certain heroes really well, because his Junkrat and McCree are looking unstoppable right now.
And you know, I think it's the highlighting of the fact that Amag, I think it's that when Deep was taken out, I'm pretty sure it was the surge of confidence that came out from Team Maga when they made that push. They said, I'm pretty sure they cheered with a hurrah. Deep is down! Deep is down! Move in, this is our chance! But when you focus that much on Deep, because he did such an amazing job, it pretty much opened the fact that, hey, you forgot all about Vapormaid. You forgot all about Amag, and these guys just open up a can of, oh gosh, and they just completely wiped out. Amag was in a perfect spot, and I'm pretty sure not a single member of Team Maga had that guy in his sights when he popped that Deadeye.
Guys, our team colors have not changed. Team Maga is still in the red on the defense this time against the literal meme team in blue. The literal meme team is stationed on the balcony right now, like stationed. They have not moved. I don't know what they're waiting on, but they have not been contested from here. They're kind of sending Deep in to see if they can get anything done. Deep looks like they're going to be taken out of the situation along with Amag.
Yeah, it looked like they had a chance to activate, or rather a chance to do some kind of push at all, but they didn't, and pretty much just forces them now to abandon their pretty precious position there on top of the balcony. Not sure if they're going to get themselves a second chance to get on top of there so long as Maga keeps up the pressure to allow them. But yes, Amag and Deep both having been fragged and taken out. It's going to force all of Team Literal
Twitch
Meme
viewers
Team to get back
report
together.
this date. We have Annas on both teams, both with their nano boost ready. Ana seems to be the thing of tonight, the theme of tonight. Camofudge gets a money Earth Shatter, knocking down 5 opposing victims of the literal meme team. Unfortunately, what was right behind Camofudge was a Gengi with Dragon Blade, Dragon Blading the entire red team. Kane, this game might be over already.
This might be over already if they can capture this point, and that is going to be GG, and we're going to be moving on to the finals. We will not see Gibraltar. We're already seeing a desperate tracer pick from Spyrunite once again. He used this before in the first game to try to clean up the last bit of teams from Team Gengi, but it looks like it's not going to pay off this time, as it is used as more or less a funnel desperate pick to hold off the rest of all of Team Literal Meme Team to allow Maga on the point, but it's not going to happen. And just like that, Literal Meme Team is going to decisively turn the tables on Team Maga, and they're going to take it 2-0.
Wow. 2-0, so Deep really showing up with that golden dragon blade.
Weapon, I see
Somebody
you, boy.
likes to play Naruto over here.
Woo! Somebody with the Sasuke Uchihas.
Yeah, the Uchiha blade coming out. Sharingan activated. Whatever ninja memes you like,
Wake
Deep
me
has
up
got
inside.
it. Oh god, we're not going there, Kane. We're trying to remain clean here. That's like heroin meme level. Guys, this is the competitive Overwatch League. Our production crew, along with hopefully our Twitch viewers, are having a blast. We've seen a lot of Ana tonight. We've seen Junkrat for some weird reason. My name is Aaron LOL. I'm sitting here with That's Gotta Be Kane tonight. We're going to go back to our desk. Stay tuned with us, Twitch. We appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
Well, I'm a little confused at what I just heard there from Kane and Aaron. I'm a little worried, and I don't know what to think about that. So, but moving on from my distraught nature, I think that Literal Meme Team just swept the board. Just like they destroyed Maga, unfortunately.
It goes to show how strong memes really are. Memes, you know what I'm saying?
Memes are how dreams are made.
But on the other hand, I feel like Deep's going to be really disappointed after this next patch. He bought that golden sword, and it's not going to get much use.
Well, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Gengi mains will still rise to the challenge, but I think Deep was the big player there the whole time. I mean, he shut down both DPS, it felt like. I mean, Amag was amazing too. Don't get me wrong, but I think that Genji as a hero as he stands now, pre-patch, he can just if you're good with him, if you are of the upper echelon of Genjis, you're just going to win your team games. Whether you have Dragon Blades up or not. And I think that at the very end there, which we'll go back a little more, but I just want to touch this, having the Ana boosted Genji at the end there, it didn't matter that he was the only one facing the enemy team in a 1v5 situation, since Reinhardt got a 5-man ult. Yeah. Yep. It didn't matter just because he got nano boosted, dragon bladed, immediately got 2 kills like it was nothing. So I think that was a huge part of the game. And once Zarya, after their first Dorado game, which felt a little sloppy on the part of Zarya, once her shields, she was getting more comfortable with who she needed to shield, and Deep got a few more shields, and Ryan got a few more shields when he was charging in and stuff. I think there's just no stopping him at that point.
Yeah, the knight formerly known as Deep, he was, that early Dorado map, he went in there against Maga and sent the whole team basically into the Shadow Realm with that early ult. He gave some real bad PTSD on Maga as they just pushed and contested for the rest of the map, it seemed. They were really afraid of his Genji. And even after, they started recontesting on that bridge at the top near the second checkpoint, it seemed like nobody was paying attention to Genji while Deep fought Maga's Genji. Maga was just, Maga's Genji was just being outclassed by Deep, and then Deep was just able to go uncontested for the most part. And on the other side of things, because Maga's Genji was focusing on literal memes Genji the whole time, the Junkrat, the offensive Junkrat, which should have been really dangerous from being taken out because there was a Genji, had no problem. He, almost never died there. So, I felt like probably a team composition change would have been important there, something to counter the Genji a little bit better, maybe a Reaper or a Tracer to get a little bit more mobility while being able to counter the enemy team. But, maybe a little bit of pride was holding that back.
Yeah, and I think on offense, they played scared. It was like they're hiding under the beds, like where my daddy's secret stash is. But they needed to, I think they, even on offense, they could have played. Our producer just had to laugh right there, and I couldn't contain it. But they could have ran even a Winston on offense, which Maga switched at the very end of Hollywood, but at that point it was too late. I mean, even on a defensive Winston isn't an uncommon thing when you're facing high-level Genjis, just because it is a complete counter of that sense. You just can't. The Genji can't do anything against the Winston and the Zarya and a McCree, all working together to take out that guy. So,
right, and the Zarya was doing a really good job of getting the shields on the Genji so he wouldn't be taking damage during those really important moments. And near the end of the first 2 maps, the last map was a little bit less so of this, but the first 2 maps there was a lot of panic ults coming out from Maga. It felt like, it was kind of those last minute, I don't know what to do with this and there's no one here to help me, so I'm just going to throw it out. Instead of just waiting for their team. And there was multiple times on Dorado mainly, where they had at least 30 seconds left, and 2 or 3 of the teammates charged in to try and hold that point when they had a full 30 seconds left. And I know a lot of teams don't really notice how long 30 seconds is. They don't need to charge in until maybe the last 5 seconds. All they have to do is get their body there. So I feel like those early fights trying to push and gain control of the objective in those last few seconds to try and get that overtime was a little bit wasted because they didn't, they kind of underestimated how long they had.
Yeah, and I think that that was a huge point to point out, because what they ended up doing is going just one by one, and that happened a lot. I think the pressure really got to them, and you really need to just like relax and calm down and just come back in fresh. Even if it takes you 5 or 10 seconds to just regroup as 6, it's better than losing a guy, waiting 6 seconds, losing a guy, waiting 6 to 8 seconds, like over and over and over again. And that's what it felt like. It just was like a little frustrating to watch how they couldn't keep their cool coming into the semifinals here.
Right. And a lot of times on the defense as LMT on Hollywood, you notice that what would happen is LMT would get one pick, and then they would hear Mama's little bird calling, and they'd push in really fast and take out the rest of the team, and they'd cause those ults to lay those team members to layer out and respawn. There was almost constantly always 1 or 2 people having to respawn on that Hollywood map for defense of Maga, and that really had a huge advantage for LMT, and I felt like that was on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of these with the Minutemen tournament, a lot of it is instead of these coordinated pushes, a lot of the time, especially now that while Gengi is so prominent, you'll see these picks happening, and then it's really just how these teams capitalize on these picks in these 5v6, 4v5, whatever you want to, however it goes, just capitalizing on these situations. And really, I think what a lot of that is having a Lucio with a good head on his shoulders to be able to do that. And so that's one thing I saw out of Literal Meme Team LMT, is that they were keeping cool, it seemed like, the whole time, and they would get one pick and then immediately push on that.
I feel like you might have a little bit of a predisposition to Little Meme Team in a negative way, seeing as you just called them Little Meme Team instead of a Literal Meme Team. Is there a little bit of a competitiveness going on there? Do you feel like Deep was countering your soul as Gengi, sending you to the Shadow Realm a little bit?
I think it hurt me. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when I saw Deep get just 4 kills in a row on that first Dorado map, it just, I feel for them, I mean, I can't lie.
Right. So do you think there's going to be a little bit of competitiveness with the pride of the Genjus? Because every Genju has a little bit of that Japanese pride in them, where they have to hold up and become the better person. But with the brother Hanzo coming out, there's going to be a little BM back and forth. Are you ready for that?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've been seeing it this whole time. Pride is getting the better of these Gengus, man. They just would rather commit seppuku than sit around and try to take these and switch off. Like, you saw Bladeofchaos getting consistently beat by Deep over and over and over again, and he said, "No, I'm the rising sun, not you." And he just kept trying, but it just didn't work out. He just went down in flames.
Yeah, you see a lot of Sudoku battles between those Genjus. It's a really big thing. How do you think you would have countered the whole Sudoku battle going on there?
Unfortunately, I'm like not quite good enough at math for high level Sudoku. So what I would have done is I really would have just burned the pages and completely changed the game.
Right.
And, that's what Chaos didn't do. He could have just changed the game.
So a good counter to that Genji, is a Winston, but they already had 2 tanks. So you think they should have switched up the meta a little bit and gone with like a Reinhardt, Harambe setup? Or do you think that changing maybe to a Reaper from a Genji or a Tracer would have done better?
Well, so I think that having Harambe is okay if you don't have a Reinhardt. I think that in that case you would have a dive comp, and I think they had a solid setup for a dive comp. They had Rastafari Man, and then they had Transcendence Man, and like they could just push in. Like, it's as simple as that. It's just pushing in that they just didn't do.
Right, and Deep, he has the perfect name for pushing in. He pushes in deep. You know what I'm saying?
Extremely deep.
So, on the other hand, I think that one of the biggest problems was the support ults, I feel like could have countered Genji to a point from deep side. I felt like, the Lucio Zenyatta combo is super strong for a reason. And that reason is, they can use a defensive ult like Zenyatta on the entry push with a Lucio speed boost and get in there. And then when the enemy team goes, full Genju Sudoku mode, he can, they can do the Lucio ult and totally counter out what he has. So, I don't feel like they kind of realized what they had in their hands, and they didn't really combo the ults like I wish they would. I mean, all they really had to do was wait for Genju to use his ult, counter that, and then get in there. And they really didn't have that much more other than that, seeing as Deep was doing most of the damage. And all they had to do after that was take out Amag. And that was most of the team.
Yeah, well, one thing if you notice, they didn't switch off the Ana, and like you saw that Ana had that golden gun, and maybe it was some pride on her part too, because like you don't get gold gun on Ana, please, guys, please. But with that, like you didn't see the switch off once, and I think it just didn't do anything for Team Maga. Like they would use a nano boost, but it seemed like they couldn't use it effectively. Whether the team isn't used to getting nano boosted, the Reinhardt or anyone on the team of Maga, it didn't seem like it got used effectively at all. Nobody could do anything with it, and the output heals are really good, but when they're focusing multiple targets, literal meme team is, they just can't do anything. Like, I mean, Ana's just not a factor in those fights in that case, unless she can land sleep darts, which, let's be honest, it's hard.
Right. Yeah, it is really hard, almost as hard as, I got that one time I went and found, my daddy's secret stash. I don't know what yours was like, but it was something special for the first time, and I only got to see it once, so I have memories of that. But, I really want to see some other maps other than Hollywood and Dorado here. What do you think about that? Do you think that these maps are just too popular and they're just going to keep getting picked over and over? Or what do you think we're going to see?
I think they are, unfortunately. You're not going to see any, I don't think you're going to see any Route 66 or Numbani. I think that you might see some watch point, as was in the end of this game right here. Like, if it made it to a best of 3, it would have played on watch point Gibraltar. You might see that, but I think for the finals here, which is going to be a best of 3 coming up, it's probably just going to be Kings Row, Hollywood, Dorado. I mean, that's just how it is.
I really want to see a Koth overtime. What about you?
We haven't seen that yet. I mean, that'd be pretty nice, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be a little refreshing. That'd be like drinking a nice, not gonna name the soda on stream, that's super refreshing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, real refreshing. I mean,
yeah.
If we're looking at
a good, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're talking about. So I will throw us a break here in a second, but we do have a sponsor to shout out. Do you know who that sponsor is, Ruik? I don't think you do.
Do I not know who the sponsor is? Is it veganvape.com?
It is not veganvape.com. We unfortunately...
I guess I don't know who it is.
That negotiation unfortunately fell through. We did mention them one other time, so I was hoping you would get it right. It is Random CS. We're going to repeat because we already said them all. Damn it, Aaron, with your Discord plug. Random CS is the adminning for our Cow Opens every single week. They help us out a bunch. Without them, we wouldn't be able to run our Cow Opens, and these streams wouldn't exist. So a huge shout out to them. Just check them out at randomcs.com. And that's going to do it for us. I'm Jonesies, and this is Ruik, and we'll talk to you after the break.
Bye-bye.
Guys, about this short delay, too, as posted up in chat, the Cow League is actually actively looking for volunteers to help at the time. So if you or any of your friends list, we know y'all got them gaming internet friends. We all got plenty of them. Tell your friends if you think you're capable of it. See if there's something you could volunteer and if you want to help basically the amateur competitive Overwatch community.
The competitive Overwatch community, of course, is definitely the place which anybody can come in, get their feel for what it feels like to have that next level. If you guys are looking for an avenue to get into some competitive Overwatch but aren't necessarily sure on how to do that, go ahead, join in our Discord. We have all the tools and the atmosphere ready for you to take that first little, you want to dip your toe into the water to see how the competitive avenue feels for you.
Kane, you should tell them. why dipping your toe in the Minutemen tournament's a good way to get in a competitive Overwatch.
Oh man, I don't recommend dipping your toe in the Minutemen tournament. I recommend skinny dipping inside of the Minutemen tournament, because the Minutemen tournament is the place to be, ladies and gentlemen. You are able to come here. You are able to go with thousands of other players over here coming in, you know, from all over the world. We have time limits, time zones, no matter when you're on. You can come in here, you can play, you can find a real good team to, of course, just hop in. And of course, you know, you're going to be joining either with people who are either new or people who have been here before, but nonetheless, it is all the same atmosphere. Very fair setups, really great rule sets, and of course, great fun. You get to all step up a level and play some of that competitive Overwatch.
Great
so
fun
here we are.
And great competition, like you said, Kane. We're now spawned on Dorado between Chicken and Beef on the defense right now, dealing with a Gengi in their back right now, just showing up onto the balcony. The red team pushing the cart at the moment. The literal meme team really dealing with this Gengi, and we got to point out, we have more Ana being played this time again. Red team running the classic shell Lucio Zenyatta. Blue team, Chicken and Beef, running Ana and Lucio.
And Ana and Lucio, of course, as we've seen these prior games, you know, Ana has been proven to be a very good pick with the devilish duo of Ana Reinhardt. And now those two alone, you could do a lot of damage if played right. But it looks like we're seeing already Amag having chose wisely, actually, with the Junkrat again, seeing that it worked in games past, is going to go with it again. Here we have a fight here in the marketplace.
Amag and his team are looking great. There's a Dragon Blade on the field from deep, but it's actually being countered by a nano-boosted Roadhog. He's a very, very, very hard character to get rid of with this nano boost. He is 3v1ing at the moment, though. He's going to go down to the red team as they're swarmed on the cart here. Kane, you'd mentioned really early that you're hoping that the teams look on the same kind of skill level, like nobody's really out-skilling each other. And the beginning of this market phase underneath the arch there was a very, very long, no hard engagement fight. Like a lot of poking, and that's a really a tell that the players are skilled enough to know when they can stay in and when they need to commit and when they need to leave. Both these teams looking like they're playing strong already.
Exactly. You know, that's exactly how you have to approach those kind of scenarios, especially when moving in towards those checkpoints. You can't be too reckless at all. As a matter, you can't be reckless, period. You know, one wrong step, one wrong move, and the other team's going to be able to collapse on you, you know, like a concaving water, like a cascading waterfall. You know, they're just going to come at you in droves, you know, and so really it's just a matter of finding that right moment, getting that payload to etch just a few more inches forward to allow your team to funnel into that marketplace, because that's where you want to be.
So a decent hook here almost started a fight earlier, but the Gengi deep on the red team is doing a very good job of backing up anybody it took. Fab lays down a money Earthshatter on the card, picking up lots of people. The red team's Transcendence is now on the field, along with the blue team's Sound Barrier, the blue team's Roadhog ultimate. No real frags finally coming up on both sides. DPS classes on both the red and blue team getting about a kill apiece. The fight is still going. There's tanks on the cart, and now Pizza has received the Nano Boost ultimate from Ana. Roadhog is now being 2v1. Pizza picking up frags with that Nano Boost. He's finally going to go down, though. The red team really actually just stayed on the cart the whole time. Aurum still being left alive, though. This checkpoint's probably going to be sought or probably captured here right now by the red team.
You know, I really gotta say, you know, the Nano Boost was given to the Roadhog. I'm not sure if that was done out of desperation or whatnot, but we didn't see an ultimate come out from Pizza at all. So, you know, Chicken or Beef having only gotten one frag and then getting taken out afterwards probably didn't really make that Ana ult as viable as it could have been.
Nice hook from Pizza, but a Dragon Blade comes down from deep. It looks like the blue team's Reinhardt tried to spend their Earthshatter to stop the Gengi. It was a complete failure. Pizza's being pushed back by 2 tanks right now, but he has his Ana with him. Surprisingly, Ana and Roadhog are actually staying alive right now. They are going to give up this capture point, it looks like, though. They still have actually not captured it. They're a half meter away in-game, apparently, from capturing the point. Red team finally pushed back by Chicken and Beef here.
Chicken and Beef showing that they've definitely got the backbone of bacon to help them along with this, pushing back that payload just a little bit, but is it going to be enough? Alisae gonna drop down the sound barrier.
Save. Very nice save as there's a money Earthshatter from Bryth hitting multiple members of the blue team. Blue team spends their Ana ultimate out. Oh god, Fab just got pinned right after he got ulted by Ana. Fab is finally swinging that hammer, making use of that Ana nano boost. Looks like the blue team's going to stabilize again here. Chicken and Beef literally surrounded by the red team, but the red team looks like they weren't really focusing anybody in that fight.
No, it didn't really, and I think it's because they're probably just trying to disperse, get some dispersion just to secure that checkpoint, which is wise, but at the same time, when you have a full team, and now, of course, you know, you're giving the enemy team that ultimate position where, of course, now they're moving on, you know, 2, going on 3 ultimates, you know, and you're only sitting out at about 2. You know, you really want to make sure that if you're going to at least try to get that payload, you at least get a couple frags. So ultimately what they did was they threw their team away into the furnace, and it allowed for team, you know, Chicken or Beef to really just start building up their meter as they start moving on to 4 ultimates here.
You know, Chicken and Beef at the ult disadvantage right now. Actually, both teams at 4 ultimates, it looks like now at this point. Got to point out, Pizza and Fab really holding down the front lines, and Pizza is not spamming hook like most Roadhogs. I haven't seen a missed hook from Pizza yet. I'm sure there's been 1 or 2, but Pizza's really doing a good job holding down the front lines here. And I think this blue team composition just kind of needs to set their foot in stone. Like, they need their Ana in the back, and they need Roadhog and Reinhardt up front. It has to be like that, or their team will fail. We have a forced engagement from the red team that is almost completely stopped by the Earth Shatter from Fab, who has now received the Nano Boost. This was engaged by not only a sound barrier, but a Dragon Blade from the red team. The red team finally picking up their frag. Tanner forcing the issue with a sound barrier along with Deep popping a Dragon Blade. That's going to capture this point here, Kane. We're moving into the last phase with about 3:15.
And that was everything that the literal meme team needed. You know, they exchanged, all ultimates were exchanged on that battlefield, and they needed to come out on top. Simply put, they were able to secure 3 minutes. It's not, however, a whole lot. You know, I'm seeing maybe 2 or 3 fights here. That's enough for both teams to gather a few ults. And at the way things are going right now, we're going to see about a good even flow of ults coming in, as we have 3 coming in, of course, from Team Chicken or Beef, and we have 2 going on 3 coming on from Team Literal Meme Team, or rather, actually, only 2. So Deep seems to be doing pretty well in building up his ultimate right now, but still, as we see it, it's about 3 coming in favor of the defense as they're trying to hold up this upper ground right now.
So it looks like Deep and Bryth are kind of the ones enforcing the issue right now. Bryth is going to spend an Earth Shatter, not really pick up a lot here. Cameronop is trying to save his team by laying down constant damage, and he is laying down constant damage indeed. 3 frags coming from Cameron. This is going to be a hold for Chicken and Beef, the blue team here. So nice hold from them. Kane, this was basically Bryth showing up at the top, trying to take the high ground by himself, and his Gengi joined him to try to take the high ground, but it actually flopped.
It actually did. We saw the Genji move up at the top of the balcony, you know, really trying to just clear it up, give themselves that extra leeway and protection as the payload went on. But it was like you said, it really just kind of backfired. You know, everyone pretty much having gone down. And now as you're looking at it right now, it's 1 ultimate going on 2, of course, now also going on 3 from Chicken or Beef. So the deficit of ults is still against Literal Meme Team right now.
Just as they get their ultimates, though, Amag is playing with the Deadeye, trying to pick something up. Spends the Deadeye along with his Genji, who's been Dragon Blading these entire 8 seconds now. They are 5 down on the blue team right now, Kane. There is nobody to stop this card. The blue team needs to get themselves together. We have an Ana ult, and we have a Deadeye for the blue team, Chicken and Beef. Can they hang on?
I got done talking about an ult deficit, but now we're just starting to see the skills of these players. You know, these players are not just their ultimates alone, as Deep went in and was able to take out about 3.
Yeah, a fight started in the form of Fab being nano boosted. Finally, the Deadeye's coming out again from Amag. The sound barrier's already been spent from Alisae. We have very little in the blue team right now except for their position. Looks like they finally picked up the frags to clear this. Really, really close hold there. And before the fight even started, as Reinhardt was right about to see his nano boost from Ana, there was a sound barrier from the blue team. Really saved the day. This means they have no support ultimates right now, though.
No support ultimates at all. But as we're starting to see right now, Fab and Swiz, however, Swiz, of course, on the Ana, needs to at least get a few pokes off before they're able to fill up that meter as much as they needed to allow for any last bastion, as it were. And right now, of course, Vapormaid with the support ult along with Deep. They're going to go in. This is the last battle.
Going in right away as Vapormaid backs up with the Transcendence. Tanner's almost at a sound barrier here as well, about 80% for the red team. The frags are pretty even right now. The red team is suffering more losses. Here comes a tack visor with a nano boost alongside with it. Cameron just now spending the tack visor as he's been nano boosted the whole time. Tanner also getting the sound barrier. We're now on overtime on the cart. Tanks are battling on the cart. Amag, the McCree, looking like he needs to back up. But just as he back up, his Deadeye is ready. A 4-kill Deadeye comes out from Amag on the cart. Oh
with a
my goodness,
return
Shane.
double from Fab, taking out Attanius as well as Amag. And they're going to move in, trying to do what they can. But Deep, however, does switch off over the Tracer and take out Fab. Vapormaid going to take out Cameronop, who rushes to the point. And with a flurry of frivolous action, Team Literal Meme Team is actually going to take round 1 of the first set.
So Meme Team gets a full push in. They looked really dominant. Their market phase went well. Their second phase went mediocre. You know, you're always going to have a few failed pushes in most cases. Third phase looked a little sketchy. It was tough to get that high ground for them every time. And they just ended up in an overtime scramble, but a beautiful overtime scramble. I hate to say it like this, but Amag literally spent Deadeye the second that they retrieved it in that fight. So it wasn't so much a great planning. It was, hey, Deadeye's up, I'm going to use it. And there were just too many people in his line of sight, really picking up the entire team's slack there, receiving that Deadeye and really clearing the field for the Literal Meme Team.
There was. I mean, it was one of those very hasty ults. It was one of those ults where you really couldn't just sit there and plan ahead. No, you were dwindling down to the 10th of a second. You had to just pop it. You know, you're in a tournament still. You know, you really just need to pop it. Hope you get even a couple to give some more leverage and leeway for your team to keep pushing just that payload for those few meters. And hey, it just so happened everyone was bundled up. You got all 4 of them, and you pretty much got the wipe that you needed. It was really no other way it was gonna go. You were either gonna get a couple, you were gonna get them all, or you were gonna get none. You were gonna get shafted. But you know, overall, I would like to say really great play. It was not entirely one-sided as we would honestly have believed it to be. We saw, of course, you know, chicken or beef, you know, towards the very end, you know, they really held on. They were really pushing them to the brink right now, as we saw a Literal Meme Team, you know, being shown already, even in the first round. Sometimes, you know, in the finals, you see a lot of the first beginning of the games, you know, pretty one-sided as both teams kind of adjust to each other. But we saw here in the first round, towards the end, already, you know, chicken or beef showing, you know, they were not going to relent. They weren't going to, you know, let go of whatever possible lead they could have had from the beginning. So already we're seeing resilience from both of these teams here in this Minutemen 11 finals. And I got to say, I'm liking from what I'm seeing from both. Let us see if, of course, chicken or beef can turn those negative favors into positive ones.
I gotta agree, both teams look like they're playing really at their potential, and they look like they're increasing their skill by the minute. They both look like they're probably warmed up now. Everybody's kind of coordinated. Everybody's doing their role properly. Both of the Gengis are in the back lines at almost all times, causing disruption. And Aurum actually picks up a support kill early. Alisae, the support from the other team, though, going down. We have a lot of trades going on already. Deep already building up a Dragon Blade, trying to clean up the market phase by himself. He's going to get hooked, go down. His Zarya should be able to push this Roadhog back. Very nice engagement from the meme team there.
Really nice engagement. Of course, as we can see right now, Attanius is the only one remaining on this point, as Vapormaid going on, of course, Zenyatta tries to make it back to give her whatever health can be given to that Zarya so they can continue the defense on this point. And it looks like both teams are going to make it in time. Payload largely unmoved.
All right, the fight is starting. The blue team wants to hold chicken and beef, spending there on a boost on Fab. Fab just running around W plus mouse 1, trying to hit everything they can. Not really making a lot of contact, though. Aurum is going to save the day in the market phase here and just clean up all the remainders with a Dragon Blade here. Both Fab and Aurum chasing with Dragon Blade, but Deep tries to make a Dragon Blade of his own, but ends up going down. No Dragon Blade play for you. That was a 4 versus 1.
No, indeed. But hey, gotta give it to him, having taken out 2. If it was any less than that, they might have had a high chance. But of course, as we're saying now, 5 minutes on the payload. We'll have to say I will give that a pretty much an overall even slate to both teams. Of course, I would say Little Meme Team got it just a little bit quicker. But both teams having gotten used to each other now a little bit after that very first round, you can pretty much argue, you know, both teams now are kind of, you know, dusting off the cobwebs, as it were. You know, the momentum is pretty much kind of shifted. Both teams are moving at a pretty even and comfortable pace right now. As we start moving on towards the church, heading on towards the bank as well, both teams are moving at an even pace right now. Chicken or beef moving the payload pretty much uncontested right now.
I hope you noticed the DPS classes for chicken and beef have been traveling in the back lines together, and they're now ahead 2 frags because of it, Kane. Big Earth Shatter coming down from the red team's Reinhardt, but he doesn't have the support to deal with it. He's down 2 classes right now. Lots of support ults being spent on the cart right now. Chicken and Beef looking like they're still in command, though, as the red team's allies are just kind of now getting back to the cart.
Of course, Pizza, of course, going to take out Deep as Amag goes on against Cameronop. A nice Earth Shatter is going to get dropped, of course, by Bryth right now as they try to clean up the rest of Chicken or Beef. And it looks like they're going to get it.
Really had that going strong for them for a minute, and then once Bryth got back with Earth Shatter, he just let it rip really quick and cleaned everything up.
And, you know, pretty much what you risk when you, of course, get those nice high grounds with a lot of your, of course, DPS moving over to try to flank and get some frags, you know, you risk being out of position. Once they know that you're there, it's about a matter of getting back to your team to execute those team plays. And if you can't get out of there and you get picked off, you're pretty much finding yourself in the same predicament. And that's what we had. We had Bryth putting down that Earth Shatter and it knocked them all down. Now here goes
comes
Fab.
Another big play. Fab with an Earth Shatter from a Nano Boost, but Deep was literally behind the enemy team the entire time this was happening, Kane. Deep was planning this all along. I said Deep's name like 3 times because Deep literally just picked up a 4K. It's as if Deep almost knew that was going to happen and stopped the play all by himself. Cameronop being left by himself on the cart right now. Going to get chased away and killed by the red team. Chicken and Beef looking like their pushes are starting strong, but there's always something that stops them.
Starting to trog, and it looks like Pizza switching up from the Roadhog, of course, now to get on the Winston. Harambe prowess coming in as they try to get just that little extra tankiness as well as more reliability with those barriers.
What do you think they switched to Winston for?
I believe they switched to Winston because it's easier to take control of that high ground here around the church. They find themselves stuck. Yeah, the verticality. They find themselves stuck here, and they need that extra burst. You know, the Earth Shatter allows them to charge in there along with the ult that Aurum has. And, you know, you have Lucio getting ready to come up, you know, with the sound barrier. But, you know, Lucio, or rather Winston, really just allows for both teams to kind of move in there and really start to disparage a lot of the teams. The teams get split up. You know, they get dispersed. It allows for that confusion to benefit the offense right now. But Aurum having been taken out by Deep, it's going to be a while before he comes on back, which is just going to stall Chicken or Beef even more. And they have to play it safe as to not suffer any more frags, but they're getting Torbna.
Big Torbna steal here from the red team. Attanius spending the Torbna steal perfectly. The combination of Graviton Surge plus Deadeye is paying dividends right now, Kane. Bryth picking up a frag here as well. This is going to be a very easy defense for the literal meme team here.
And that
nice
whole
ult
setup
combination.
right there, that whole setup that you saw was because Deep took out Aurum. Aurum was the only one at the time that had the offensive prowess to do anything there, but he got taken out so early, which now forced the rest of team, you know, Chicken or Beef to posture and to fall back and say, okay, we gotta wait for Aurum. But of course, you know, literal meme team, they saw that and said, no, we're not gonna let you do that. We're gonna take advantage of the fact that you're now only at 5v6. They shut out the Torbna steal, Amag with the perfect Deadeye, and once again, they cleaned it up all nice and neat. Deep already nearing his ultimate, though he is, of course, taking out Amag, 85, 89% going on towards his. Cameronop showing to be the only one.
Not able to capitalize on that pin, unfortunately. A great pin coming from Bryth here is going to, again, halt the movement of Chicken or Beef. Chicken and Beef should not be fighting right now if they're at all able to. Looks like they're kind of stuck now that their Lucio is going down.
Lucio is in fact down, and now we're fighting. Don't know why I am yawning right now, but it looks like we are fighting Chicken or Beef in that situation where now they need to group up. Pizza should not be in the front right now taking all this damage. He should actually be in the fact of falling back. Pizza, of course, being the only one with an ultimate at the moment right now. So all you are going to really see is a lot of dispersion going up against literal meme team, which has 4 going on 5, even 6 ultimates right now. This is definitely a last-ditch effort for Chicken or Beef to get something.
Deep is trying to halt the play in its track before the Harambe Rage even comes out. Looks like it's going to be up to Winston to touch the card here with Primal Rage. He's fighting basically 6 versus 1 right now, taking insane damage on the card. Tanner even solidifying his team's chance to nullify this overtime with the sound barrier, just making sure they're so far ahead of the cart that the blue team Chicken and Beef cannot even touch it. Our first map is going to fall into the hands of the red team, who has been the literal meme team, taking this first map Dorado over Chicken and Beef here.
You know, I really got to say, huge dividends, of course, being paid out by Deep. As we saw, not only were they getting so many kills, but just the follow-up and the setups that his team had. Every time he got even one frag out, you know, we saw, you know, Aurum being the one to have all of the old, you know, it was pretty much all on his back to do that offense. And when he got picked off, it allowed his team to pretty much have a lot of control. And that's what Deep was doing if he wasn't trying to flank. He was simply trying to isolate and take out and frag any of the few DPS that Team Chicken and Beef had. And it allowed for pretty much like all the pace of the match to be held by Literal Meme Team the moment that second point went on. And so now it looks like with Game 1 having been given to Literal Meme Team, we're going to be moving on to Watch Point Gibraltar for Game 2.
Yes, Kane, we're going to be going to Game 2 of what is our grand finals for the competitive Overwatch League Minutemen Tournament number 11. We are you, that's got to be Kane, and I am Aaron LOL on the microphone for you guys tonight. We're going to be stepping into Map 2, which we brought up earlier because it's a relatively rare occurrence in the competitive Overwatch scene. We're going to be going to Match Point Gibraltar. Just quick FYI to the viewers before our overlay updates, we are going to be switching team sides, it looks like. Kane, tell me what you think the one off pick is going to be for Watch Point Gibraltar. Somebody's going to pick something weird, and I want to take Amag playing Junkrat out of it right away, not counting that.
Honestly, I'm going to say, at least maybe for this first point, I'm not sure. Perhaps we're going to see a Junkrat, perhaps we're not. I'm thinking we might see a return of, or actually, given the fact that, you know, the first point here being wiped, I believe we're going to see a return of Reaper coming into this point. Because, you know, Reaper does really well in getting some gains and leverage. He's really good at holding any kind of high grounds, getting access, you know, really kind of dropping down, you know, for those really powerful Death Blossoms that they can get pulled off. You know, of course, with the Zarya, I'm saying we might see a Reaper, which isn't an unfamiliar pick, which isn't something that's, you know, not very methodical or, you know, something that we haven't seen before. But
you're right, but it's not as standard as like Lucio Zenyatta. It's not an always pick. It's not a McCree.
Exactly. It is not a McCree. That is for certain. Yes, but so you know, I'd like to see perhaps a Reaper. You know, either a Reaper, if not a Reaper, hey, you know, perhaps we'll just start seeing,
looks like the pick's already been made, our off pick. I think we may see a Symmetra. Just to let y'all know, the team colors have switched. If it's not on the overlay yet, the red team is now Chicken and Beef, starring Pizza, Cameronop, Aurum.
And this is not a troll pick. This is, in fact, a Symmetra that we're saying.
Yep,
and the reason why I say it's not a troll pick, and the reason why I say not a troll pick is definitely because of the fact that, hey, every time we have seen a Symmetra, even on Watch Point Gibraltar, you know, we're postured with a few tea bags here and there, and then we see the unfortunate H get popped.
Okay, Kane, we're gonna talk about this Symmetra real quick. So Watch Point Gibraltar, there's two places, and mainly just one window. You know that big window in the attacking spawn room, the huge one?
Right.
So people will go to that window and you can look out and see what classes are spawned. The Symmetra laid her turrets out as quickly as she could so nobody knows there's a Symmetra on the team yet. It's a little thing, but it's also one of those things, you know, where they're going to come across those turrets and be surprised, and then they're going to have to guess which room is Symmetra hiding in, which room is she controlling right now. Is this Genji baiting me into a Symmetra room, or is this Genji just running away?
Precisely, and honestly, a lot of times, you know, I'm not sure if the enemy team did in fact see the Symmetra, but it is a very high possibility in which teams do in fact, you know, you will see people through that window, and then they know what to expect. You know, because generally speaking, once you move past that point and they see you, they know what you're rolling. You're not switching back at this point because you have
not switching back indeed. It looks like the hand of the Literal Meme Team has been shown as well. They're not even holding the server room. They're giving up the first choke point, which is normal, first checkpoint at that, but they're just standing here right in the main choke, letting their Symmetra 2 surge do the work. Aurum gets a very nice hook on Attanius, bringing the Zarya in. They get rid of the Symmetra turrets right away. Symmetra not really contributing to the team so much at the moment.
Not so much. As a matter of fact, every time we've seen the turrets get set up, they've been brought down. So looks like they're just trying to remain consistent in throwing up turrets wherever they can, charging obviously for the teleporter. And they're moving on about, you know, 3/4 now up to that teleporter. but they need to start making some dudes, which means that a lot of Chicken or Beef need to play very safe. Deep being the only one in which they're likely too comfortable with, and allowing them to move on out as they try to get some picks off. I'm sorry, not Chicken or Beef, I meant Literal Meme Team.
Very interesting that DPS classes, both McCree and Gengi, have been very far away from their team, but it looks very structured. It looks like they're playing this Symmetra. The Literal Meme Team is playing the Symmetra composition to where the Symmetra is allowing her team to actually spread out more. We've already seen a Dragon Blade pop from deep defensively just to pick up some frags here. Looks like we have an engagement here, Kane.
Oh, but Alisae is the one to get the nano boost, not the intended Reinhardt as most likely, and they're gonna suffer. Vapormaid on Symmetra getting themselves a double kill. There's Amag's gonna pick off Fab, and it looks like that huge miscalculated on a nano boost is gonna send all of Team Chicken or Beef to all back flying, and that is unfortunate. That is just how crucial and critical a misplaced nano boost can be. You know, you give it to the wrong hero, and just like that, your entire offensive push is diminished.
It just makes no sense anymore, Kane. Like you said, definitely an accident there. Most likely going for the Reinhardt. This is really bad. Amag going down is going to spell trouble. They have to just get past this Symmetra wall, but it looks like the path they're taking, they're not even going to see it. Pizza finally making the switch to Reaper, and it looks like we have an accidental or a panic sound barrier pop that does not come down. That sound barrier not going down, Kane, resulted in another 4 kill from Deep.
4 kills from Deep, as Deep definitely went and dug deep. As Deep having taken out those 4 peoples, I'm serious, like that right there. That is what happens when not only do you not have a sound barrier, but you allow for the rest of your team to just stack up. Like, that definitely created for one hell of a play by Deep. And you know what? I feel like we've seen 2 crucial mistakes from Chicken or Beef now. A misplaced nano boost. A misplaced nano boost, which calls for an entire offense to be diminished, and now a lacking of sound barrier to be placed, which calls for an entire team.
We call that dropping Uber in TF2 because Uber makes you invincible, and sound barrier almost makes you invincible. There are no sound barriers at this moment, as McCree's Deadeye has been completely shut down by guess who? Deep again. Vapormaid chasing down easy kills left by the red team. Chicken and Beef really just struggling to get past this little Symmetra line at the moment. Kane, they've got 2:15 left. They've even tried attacking the server room, and that's when the sound barrier accident happened.
Yep, they've attacked the server room. It's not doing too well. You know, all of them are trying to regroup right now. You know, Cameron OP, you know, getting off certain picks right now. But Deep, once again, is just picking off so many of these guys from Chicken or Beef before they can even regroup, before they can even get on a full-fledged attack. Fab going down as well. Deep goes down, but he always has made his deaths worth it, taking out, if not 1 for 1, 1 or 2 for 1. And we're seeing right now Pizza being given the nano boost as a last-ditch effort.
This will be a scary Reaper, but he's got to get in there and do something. He does not have his Death Blossom. He's super close to getting his Death Blossom. Chicken and Beef is now 4 strong on the cart with their Reaper coming back into action with his Death Blossom. Now he's going to have it by the time he's ready to pull the trigger. I do not think the blue team is surrendering at the moment, though. They're going to try to take the Reaper out of the picture right away. Bryth misses the pin from going to sleep, but the Reaper is taken out of the equation either way. Both Bryth and Fab swinging hammers on the cart right now. Tanner desperately trying to keep his team in this. They really want a first point hold. They do not want to go to the next phase.
They do not, and right now, a lot of Literal Meme Team is doing a great job in pushing them back. They have legitimately less than a minute now and going in. They have the same picks right now, and of course, 2 going on 3 ultimates, but they do not, nor are they close to actually getting themselves a nano boosted Reinhardt, so they're gonna have to rely on simply forcing themselves in. Perhaps the Earth Shatter is gonna allow for the Death Blossom to go out, but they're gonna have to make something happen. Deep with the ultimate, they cannot suffer a single frag from Deep. They need to be aware, be careful, and cover their flanks. If a single frag goes out and they take out one of those ultimate vital heroes, it's gonna be over before it begins. There's a good chance in the server
room here. It looks like a fight is breaking out in the server room. Pizza is trying to save the day with a money Death Blossom. He gets a few frags, but unfortunately Deep was there to counter it. Reflect and Dragon Blade being highly utilized by Deep right now, cleaning up Team Chicken and Beef. Kane, the blue team, is sitting on the cart right now. We're 3 seconds away from overtime. McCree, the only person close enough to touch the cart. I think this game is over. We have our champions of the Minutemen tournament, it looks like, tonight.
Indeed. Literal meme team are already now here on match point.
They're on match point. The reason I call this early GG, though, is they literally just need the... Okay, so I guess it's actually the second checkpoint. But it's like the first major checkpoint transitioning to the next phase.
Transitioning into the next phase. So, yes, if they, of course, take over the, the first followed by second, of course, after the patch, we will not be worrying about that first checkpoint anymore.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I got confused too at first. I was like, wait a minute, there's no checkpoint there. What are you talking about? But yes, once they take this is definitely match point. And, you know, it's like I was talking about in the beginning before this started, resilience. You know, this is a team that now has their back against the wall, and they are now forced to come back swinging. We've seen it happen in the past with certain teams realizing this fate. We've seen teams in the past, you know, do really well on defense, or rather do really well when they find themselves under pressure. It is crunch time. This is my favorite time of the Minutemen tournament because it really starts to culminate all of those effects. It starts to culminate all of those avenues of whether teams and how they're able to come back together. This starts to show what teamwork you have been able to produce with your teammates within this tournament. Are you going to be able to withstand the flames of this furnace, or are you definitely gonna burn under the pressure? And my goodness, I mean, it's do or die, right?
It's do or die, and they're trying some stuff.
It is do or die.
We have,
oh my goodness.
So we have basically triple turret defense. We have a Bastion. We have a Torbjorn, and we have a Symmetra triple turret. On top of that, we have Mei Ice Wall and Hanzo arrows, which are about to be buffed here soon, guys. We're going to see the striking efforts of the blue team, the meme team here, to see if they can get past this cheesy, interesting... What are we calling this? Is this cheese?
We call this desperation from where I'm from here in rank 47 competitive play on solo queue. We call this desperation, but this is definitely some desperation as we're seeing Deep showing that he is the true Shimada bro, taking out Aurum's Hanzo, as he's also going to go in to try to get some more. They are smelling victory, and they're smelling it strong. However, Pizza is going to take out Attanius Zarya. And it looks like we are now for one on this map. Bryth, how we're going to take out Pizza, and just like that, no teleporter allowed, no teleporter up, but Fab is going to take out Amag.
Too. Mei is doing a very good job countering the Genji. She's also doing a good job of countering the tanks that are wandering out a little bit too far by themselves.
As we've so far seen in this whole game, it's been 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. And surprisingly enough, Team Chicken or Beef, with quite the crazy comp right now, is actually holding on, even if just a little bit. Of course, about 5 minutes now on the clock. Aurum switching to Tracer, trying to get some kind of flanks going on. Showing now and seeing that Deep cannot be the only one allowed to move in like that, but he's going to activate his Dragon Blade to try to get off some more pickoffs.
We see right now Mei denying Deep's entrance into the server room, showing her use here, but it's a little bit too late, Kane. They're already 3 frags down. Aurum is just dancing on the payload to try to stop it.
Oh, but the teleporter is in fact up. Is it going to be enough time, though, to allow the teams going up? Quite the sketchy position, however, for that teleporter, and definitely Deep is going to take it down. This is the last-ditch effort for teams to go in.
Yes, the blue team, the literal meme team, trying to put forth their best effort. They're just racking up frags after frags, being stopped by things like little things like Mei primary fire, for instance. The literal meme team runs through a cheesy last-ditch effort. Let's try to have some fun and not let the meme team through on Gibraltar. Does not work. Guys, we are the competitive Overwatch League. Take a look at helping us. Take a look at just joining the league, the Discord, to get some practice yourself, meet some people to get further in the Overwatch community. My name has been Aaron LOL tonight. Kane, thank you.
Know, thank you so much, and I just want to say, remember, ladies and gentlemen, no matter your circumstance, no matter your place and position of time, remember to always and forever.
Always and forever?
Always and forever. That's all.
Colleague forever?
Okay. Just always and forever. What, you thought I was going to say something else? No, I'm just kidding. Stay saucy.
Always and, stay saucy, my goodness. Thank you again, Kane.
That game, guys, I was pretty excited for that ending. I was really hoping for some kind of just like cheese comp that brings it into overtime for the hilariousness, but it didn't seem to happen. I mean, why do you think they lost there? Like, What was going on?
You know, I think on that last point, you know, can use the word desperation, but I think of a little more appropriate word would be trolling. I just don't know what like went through their minds. If they were seriously trying to win, I just don't know what they're like, yeah, let's do a Bastion and a Torbjorn and a May. It's
I mean, in the end, the Bastion kind of, you know, they took the Bastion out, which I think was kind of a failure on their end. You know, you got to go all in. You can't back out at the last spot. It's all or nothing. So that was one of the big problems. But on the serious side, what did the Literal Mean team and Chicken Beef? What was going on there that one was so much stronger than the other?
So I believe a really big issue there was I mean, of course, I said this, I think, every single time, but it's coordination, guys. Like, it felt like both their DPS on the side of Chicken and Beef, bless their souls, but they just took a flanking role every time. It felt like they did not really want to stick with their team. And as a Gengi main, you can kind of get away with that. You have the power of the rising sun behind you, and you can always just dash away to victory. But as Soldier 76, you just like Cameronop just felt underwhelming there a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole team felt underwhelming in the sense that they kept having these really great combos, but they didn't wait for the last ultimate that they needed to follow up on that. They would get a lot of good damage combos in, and they'd take out most of the other team. But then the other team would start bringing all of their, you know, ultimates in to counter back and try and hold. And they didn't have their Lucio ult for some reason, or they didn't wait long enough. If they had just waited 30 extra seconds on one of those holds on Dorado, they would have had a Lucio ult. They most likely would have survived the pushback, and then they would have pushed it to the second CP and possibly won that round. So I felt like it was a lack of patience, you know, on some of those. And, you know, as also a Genji main and a fan of the Hamada brothers as a whole, I felt like, you know, patience should have been their fortitude, but they lacked heavily.
Yeah, I think I keep saying I think, but I know that a big issue was with what you just said, and that they just split off a lot. Like, let's say it was Fab, their Reinhardt, he would be pretty consistently caught out and be alone, whether it was because his team died behind him or because he got a long charge. And whether that charge was successful or not doesn't matter as much when you're just getting that, you're just dying immediately after that. Even if you get one kill, a lot of times it wasn't on like any specific key targets. It wasn't on like a Zenyatta or a Lucio that had ult up. It wasn't on a DPS, but it was a lot of times he wouldn't even get anything out of that. And I think both the Reinhardts on either side were struggling to cope with keeping their shield up against the other. That's one thing you don't see a lot, is they don't realize how dropping their shield and fighting the enemy Reinhardt in front of them hurts their backline from pokers. Like I think McCree on the side of LMT did just like took such huge advantage of that, where he would just get poked down or he would get a good Deadeye. So
yeah, and I felt like there's a correlation from an earlier team that was doing well and then, you know, finally lost it in the end was Maga. They had, if I remember, they had an Ana and a Lucio combo for the most of their rounds, or it was either that or Ana or something else, but mostly it was Ana. And in the end, they lost. I felt like on that push on Dorado, they would have had a better chance against the Genji, and even on the previous map before that, if there had been a Zenyatta Discord orb on the Genji, because at some point they switched to Winston, which does counter the Genji, but the problem was Genji was doing such a good job of escaping on the defense that, you know, he couldn't stick on him for very long without dying. So he would get partial damage in, Genji would back out, he'd heal, and then go back in, and in the end, you know, it made the Winston useless, you know. So yeah. I felt like if they had a Discord orb on the Genji, it would have been a bigger possibility for Winston to jump in, kill the Genji, and then jump out and survive, and then they would have had a huge advantage in that situation. But yeah, they just didn't go for that.
I think that I don't know. I felt like the amount of Ana I was seeing was like directly correlated to which team was winning and which team was losing. It sounds bad to say, but I just don't think Ana in a lot of these compositions really did what she was supposed to, especially against these guys that kind of know what's up and know what's going on. They know how to deal with an Ana. They know how to deal with a ult to like a Reinhardt that's been nano boosted. So I think that that was like a huge deal there. But I think Deep had to have been the like star of that. But now we're getting into our show match right now. It's going to be on Nubani, a best of one if I'm correct. We're going to send it to the casters, Aaron LOL, and it's got to be Kane.
All right, and here we are, guys. This is going to be our show match, wrapping up the Overwatch Minutemen tourney. Your finalists and your winners are, in fact, still, of course, the literal meme team, which took it from a best of 3 from chicken or beef. But this is going to be a show match due to a little bit of a predicament that we had with some of the bracketing earlier due to certain technical difficulties. So, in all sport and fairness, you know, we wanted to give this team that never really got their showing a chance to play. So, you know, the stipulation was simple.
Difficulty. What happened? Do you know the rundown?
So that difficulty, the rundown, generally speaking, was due to some of the bracketing and certain websites having some technical difficulties and not being allowed to form up those brackets firmly. We had an entire team that basically kind of got shafted due to technicalities, and they never got the chance to actually play. So what we wanted to do was, because we couldn't necessarily fit them into the current brackets that we had for the tournament, we decided, and we of course consented with the perhaps winning finalist teams of Chicken or Beef and Little Meme team that, hey, if you guys won, did you feel like giving these guys a shot, you know, giving them a chance to get casted to play and generally have a good time. You know, people are already, you know, taking it lightly, throwing out some of the quote-unquote BM talks, you know, getting ready, having a good time. And you know what, this is going to be a nice lighthearted note to end off the stream. This is going to be Team Little Meme team going up against, I'm not sure if we have a name, but oh, Sub Squad. This is going to be the team named Sub Squad. So Sub Squad is of course going to be the red team, and we're going to be going up against Little Meme team, who is going to be on the blue side defending. This is going to be a best of 1.
Check it, we see 2 specialty picks. This is indeed a best of 1 on Hollywood normal rule set for the Cow League style run tournaments. We have a huge fight over here with Harambe, Lucio, and the Reinhardt from the red team, it looks like, pushing on the backhand stairs. Nolan looking to be pushed out with his Lucio right now is, man, there's a big scramble on the capture point for a second, but it was all because of that fight at the back stairs here. Interestingly enough, the Genji's still hanging around there.
Gengi is in fact hanging around there, and as we're seeing right now, Deep is definitely pulling out no strings attached right now as he is going in, taking out 2. Amag getting his 2nd kill of the game right now against Anubis. But right now, we're seeing the resilience right now from Team Sub as they're going to come in. They're going to try to hold off, but oh my goodness, Nolan gets thwopped with a really hard hit from Deep's Dragon Blade, which is going to cancel and shut down Nolan's Deadeye. And just like that, we're going to see ourselves a reset from Team Sub Squad.
Okay, that Dragon Blade coming down and just, you know, finishing up what had already happened. We were in one of those situations where a team fight engaged, and then about 30 seconds later, the fight was still happening as people were trickling both in and out of the fight. And when those kind of fights are happening, the thing you have to look for is you have to be ready for somebody to whip out an ultimate. And that's what happened. Dragon Blade came and ruined the day for everybody. The red team, though, the Sub Squad, is now pushing up. I really like this attack path. They are on the high ground. It's looking like they are going to control when the engagement happens, but when your Lucio and your DPS class go down and it's 6 versus 4, it's looking like a bad look for the Sub Squad right now.
Looking like a bad look right now, or looking like a bad time right now, but Nolan, getting shut down again by Deep's nice cutoff. Poor his hat just got tousled, and just like that, Vapormaid, however, gonna start finishing off. And looks like Team Little Meme team is not giving the Sub Squad any quarter right now, as they could care less.
Nah, they're not. Yeah, they're not giving him any breathing room at all. Deep is playing Genji, and Deep is just going in. Kane, really quick on Gibraltar, did you notice that the way the literal meme team was defending was when their team had ultimates, they just had their Gengi spend his ultimate by himself to see how much work he could get done. Kind of doing the same thing here. Deep is just doing a ton of the work, and then the rest of the team hangs out by the control point. We see a decent fight coming out here. I said what is laying down the Primal Rage, but Kane, there's another Dragon Blade from Deep. What the hell?
And this is the third shutdown in a row in which Deep is actually done. In case you couldn't see it, not even close. Or not even ice, rather, came not even close as he brought out his ice, baby. Not even ice taking out the Dragon Blade, but getting cut off immediately as he whipped it out to try to get himself some damage, getting taken down by Deep. Again, that is now the third shutdown. 2 shutdowns have already been given down, of course, to Nolan, and now Deep with his third shutdown of the day.
We see Amag here again, just laying damage into the enemy team, and look who's hanging out with. Deep and Amag literally just fighting 2 versus 6 right now. The sound barrier comes down from both teams, and they have a really weird looking fight on the stairs here as Lulu Meister just lands a pin on nobody, flying off the map. Oh, Kane, these frags. Oh,
the frags are all over the place right now. The meme dream is keeping alive right now, as they have definitely been waking up right now, and they are showing that this is still the finals to them. They are taking the poor Care Bear and throwing it to the ceiling and rifling it with grenades from afar.
Oh, blowing up a Care Bear. You're saying it's that brutal?
It is. I'm sorry. This is brutal. This is brutal. You know, you say that, you saw in the finals both on Watch Point Gibraltar and here. You saw the Gengi, of course, moving in. Deep was just by himself doing all this damage, and that's because the team was confident. The team was very confident. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
To be fair, the literal meme team is actually playing this like it's the grand finals right now. Like they're running, they're running a real team comp, and they're playing real strategies and real holds and real tactics.
And so they still have all of that adrenaline and momentum pumping, because I don't know, maybe it's them saying that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough, and if there's more that we're to expect after this, well, we're gonna give them what we gave chicken or beef, but we're gonna add pork to the mix, and we're gonna give you that as well. So I'm just starting to think that maybe it was the fact that literal meme team is they're not letting those juices come off.
Yes. As we see a little bit of banter going back and forth, and we have what would be the support class for who is this? This is who's playing? Oh, it's the sub squad now. The sub squad is now going to fight against a attack bastion based on the banter happening in all chat.
So this is definitely one lighthearted way to start closing out the evening, as our final round, win or lose, is definitely going to start happening, as it looks like Team Literal Meme Team is going to be the offense right now as they go up against Team Sub Squad. Team Sub Squad on the defense with one very powerful Torbjorn going.
Yeah, they have a very defensively postured team here. They have, a mobile tank, they have a Torbjorn, they have a Mei, which is not mobile, and they have a Junkrat, which is not mobile as well. Really only sitting on one support as well in Zenyatta, but they're going up against the Vapormaid. The attack Bastion strategy with only one support. Like I was saying, Kane, Vapormaid is a support player for this team that's been playing tonight. They're on the attack Bastion here. Vapormaid already set up with this team, getting some kills.
Getting some kills, definitely, and it looks like right now Sub Squad is looking to dethrone the champs with one proud and one hell of a great upset, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen just yet, as Deep is going in, getting a nice double, but oh my goodness, not even Ice is going to take out Deep with a nice revenge kill, with a nice grenade. Attanius is showing that they have a lot of vengeful strikes for Nolan's turret, saying, get it out of here.
Attanius just standing on the point, tanking.
My goodness, and here we have Bryth on the Diva right now, trying to take out Lulu Meister, who's going to go ahead and take himself a nice drink of Capri Sun to get that health back. And Bryth, oh my goodness, Bumblebee is going down right now. Vapormaid supporting with the power that is the attack Bastion, going in tank mode, saying, watch my cinematic, it's really good and heart-wrenching.
Yeah,
taking out that Riptire as well. My goodness.
Doing great work on the tank mode there. Vapormaid building the ult relatively quickly. It took about one death cycle. The team is now on the point because of it. Zarya laying down enough damage to get the turret out of the picture again here with a lonely Torbjorn and a lonely Junkrat now defending against what looks like to be a real team. Deep on the point as well, doing work as Gengi yet again. And a Tranquility is going to be the last-ditch effort for this fight. The whole red team, the sub squad, is finally on the point together, defending, pushing this back now.
Pushing it back indeed, and just about 2 minutes remaining, and looks like the champs are definitely gonna have to either revamp something or go in for another push, a little bit more calculated to take them out.
So how do they make this attack bastion work if they're gonna cap this first point?
If they're gonna go attack Bastion to make this work, they need to get the high ground. They need to secure it to allow Bastion to get that nice setup so that they can move in. And very wisely, Sub Squad getting themselves ready.
They're sending Deep in there right away, but Deep gets bodied right away by Lulu Meister's whole hog. Vapormaid doing Vapormaid damage for a minute in Bastion turret mode.
And did you see Tanner actually fell down, not getting the full brunt of that Lucio Soundberry off on the rest of his team, and only got given to the Reinhardt, who gets taken out. And it looks like with just over a little bit of a minute and a half right now, Sub Squad, do they look for this upset? Are they looking to take them out? They have 3 ultimates to the champ, the reigning champs, 2 now going on 3. But right now, it looks like Sub Squad is showing, hey, we're gonna get this. We're gonna take this. We're not gonna let you have this so easily.
The meme team has the Dragon Blade and Torbjorn Steel combo ready. As long as the Sub Squad stays spread out, they should not fall to it. There's only 2 people in this Torbjorn Steel, but Deep is trying to go to work. Mysta is having none of that, though, with the Transcendence. A Earthshatter goes down, hitting absolutely nobody. The meme Dream Team looking like they're struggling on the point here, but they finally pick up the frags. Just as I say it, Kane, they just push in and taunt on the cart.
And poor not even Ice is not even close to the point, as he isn't even going to jump down to try to contest. And there you have it. Sub Squad with quite the valiant effort on defense. But sadly, they are going to fall to the reigning Minutemen 11 champions. Literal meme team.
So the literal meme team enjoying to a show match here due to the red team, who was the sub squad, unfortunately not being able to participate as much as they'd wanted to in the Cow League number 11 here. So this is going to wrap up our show for you guys tonight. Again, we are a Discord partner, the Competitive Overwatch League. You can find us on the Competitive Overwatch subreddit. We have a great set of people working to bring more light to the amateur competitive Overwatch community. I've been joined by That's Gotta Be Kane tonight. I think we're going to wrap up here, Kane.
Indeed, we are wrapping up. Thank you guys so much for having joined us, and we will see you guys next week. Stay saucy and stay awesome as always. You guys have a great night.